Hey there, welcome in. Go ahead and get comfortable because you don't have to do anything right now except be here. Fluff up your pillow if you need to. Pull the blanket up to wherever feels right. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears, just a little, the way they always seem to forget to do during the day. There's no rush tonight. There's nowhere else you need to be. It's just you and me and a soft little pocket of quiet that we get to share for a while. I'm really glad you found your way here. Honestly, that's the first gentle thing I want you to know. Out of all the noise out there, all the bright screens and loud voices and endless scrolling, you chose something calm. You chose rest. And that says something kind about the way you're taking care of yourself tonight. So before we go any further, just take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for the tiniest moment at the top, and let it fall back out like a curtain settling in front of an open window. There. That's the pace we're going to keep the whole way through. Tonight, we're going to spend some time with something I find endlessly soothing, which is the quiet science of the human mind. Psychology, but not the kind you'd find in a heavy textbook, and definitely not the kind that asks you to sit up straight and take notes. No. These are the soft, curious, dreamy little facts about how people think and feel and dream and remember. The kind of gentle truths that make you go, huh, isn't that lovely? Right before your eyes drift closed. Think of them as warm milk for a busy brain, little spoonfuls of wonder, served slow, meant to loosen the knots in your thoughts one at a time until there's nothing left to hold on to but sleep. Because here's the thing about your mind, and I mean this in the kindest way. It's been working so hard today. Even in the moments you thought were empty, even standing in line somewhere, even sitting in traffic. Your brain was humming along in the background, sorting and worrying and planning and remembering. It doesn't really know how to switch off on command. Nobody's does. So instead of ordering it to be quiet, which never works anyway, we're going to do something gentler. We're going to give it something soft and pleasant to rest on. Something interesting enough to hold its attention, but calm enough that it slowly, sweetly forgets to keep gripping so tight. That's really the whole idea of this little channel, if you didn't already know. This is a quiet corner of the world made for one simple reason: to help you fall asleep, one sleepy soul at a time. That's the promise. Not to fix your whole life, not to solve every worry rattling around in there, just to walk beside you to the edge of sleep and let you tip over gently into it. One night, one voice, one drifting mind at a time. And if that's the kind of thing that helps you, if you feel yourself softening even a little as we go, it would mean the world if you tap that like button and subscribe before you drift off completely. I know. It feels like a strange thing to ask when we're trying to be so calm. But it's a small, quiet way of saying, yes, keep making these for me. And it helps more of these soft little journeys find the people who need them. You can do it now, while your fingers still remember how, and then set the phone down and forget all about it. Deal? Wonderful. That's the only favor I'll ask all night, I promise. From here on out, it's just rest. Now let me tell you a little about what tonight is going to feel like, so your mind knows it's safe to let go. There's no big story with a scary twist coming. There's no cliffhanger. Nothing's going to jump out at you, and nothing's going to demand that you stay awake to find out what happens. This isn't that kind of place. What we have instead is a slow, meandering wander through some of the most soothing things psychologists and researchers have ever noticed about the way we work as human beings. And the beautiful part is, you don't have to remember a single one of them. In fact, I'd almost prefer if you didn't. If you fall asleep before the second fact, that's not you missing out. That's the whole thing working exactly the way it's supposed to. That's a win. That's you resting. So please, let go of any little worry that you're supposed to follow along. You're not. You're just supposed to breathe and be here and let my voice become a kind of soft background weather while you drift. Isn't it funny, actually, how much pressure we put on sleep during the day? We treat it like a task, like one more thing on the list to get right. We climb into bed and suddenly the mind goes, okay, sleep now, quickly, you have to be up early. And of course, that's the exact moment sleep gets shy and slips out the back door. Because sleep isn't something you do, it's something you allow. It's something that happens to you when you finally stop chasing it. It's a lot like trying to remember a word that's sitting right on the tip of your tongue. The harder you grab for it, the further it floats away. But the second you shrug and let it go, the moment you turn your attention to something soft and easy, it just quietly wanders back on its own. That's what we're doing tonight. We're turning our attention to something soft and easy, so sleep can wander back to you on its own time. And I want you to know, wherever you are right now, however this day treated you, you're allowed to just set it down. All of it. The conversation you keep replaying in your head, the thing you meant to say but didn't, the thing you did say and wish you hadn't, the list of tomorrow, the worry that's been sitting in your chest like a small heavy stone. You don't have to solve any of it tonight. None of it needs you right now. Tomorrow will still be there. And honestly, tomorrow's version of you, the one who's rested and clear-eyed, will handle it so much better than the tired, wired version of you could ever hope to. So the kindest thing you can do for tomorrow's you, truly, is to let go of all of it just for now and rest. Give yourself permission. I'll even say it for you if that helps. You're allowed to rest now. You've done enough today. Whatever enough was, it was enough. Let's settle in a little deeper. Notice the weight of your body against the bed or the couch or wherever you've curled up. Notice how the surface underneath you is holding you completely, so you don't have to hold yourself at all. You can hand your whole weight over to it. Let your legs get heavy. Let your arms get heavy. Let that little tension you didn't even know you were carrying in your jaw and your forehead just melt down and away. There's a wonderful thing that happens as we fall asleep, actually, and it's one of the many gentle facts we'll wander through tonight. Your muscles slowly release their grip in a kind of soft, downward wave, and your brain begins telling all sorts of quiet, harmless little stories. And your breathing finds a rhythm all its own without you ever having to manage it. Your body knows how to do this. It has done it every single night of your life. You can trust it completely. All you have to do is get out of its way. The mind is such a strange and tender thing. When you really stop to think about it, it can hold a memory from decades ago as clearly as a photograph. The smell of a kitchen, the sound of a screen door, the particular light of an afternoon that ended long before now. And yet it can also completely forget why it walked into a room. It can fall head over heels in love with a total stranger's face and never quite know why. It can dream up entire worlds while you sleep, full of people who don't exist and places you've never been, and then let them all dissolve the moment you open your eyes. It's endlessly, beautifully weird, this thing behind your eyes. And over the next little while, we're going to visit some of its softest, most comforting corners together. The parts that make you feel a little less alone in being human. The parts that make you go, "Oh, everyone's like that? I thought it was just me." Because so much of what feels private and strange about the way you think turns out to be wonderfully, reassuringly universal. But we'll get to all that in good time. There's no hurry. That's maybe the most important thing I can tell you tonight, and I'll probably say it more than once because it's worth repeating. There's no hurry. Not in this. Not in how fast you fall asleep. Not in whether you catch every word. Not in anything at all right now. The whole world spends its days hurrying, and we've stepped out of that for a while. In here, it's slow. In here, sentences can take their time. In here, a pause is allowed to just be a pause, a little bit of quiet where nothing needs to be filled. So let your eyes close whenever they'd like to. They might feel a little heavy already, and if they do, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to keep them open for any of this. My voice will keep going whether you're watching or not, and it'll follow you right down to the soft edge of sleep and tuck the words in behind you. You won't miss anything that matters, because nothing here matters more than your rest. The facts are just the boat. Sleep is the shore. And we're drifting there together, slowly, with the current doing most of the work. Take one more slow breath with me before we truly begin. In, gently, filling up from the bottom, and out, long and easy, like a sigh you didn't know you'd been holding all day. Feel how, just for a moment there, on that long exhale, everything got a tiny bit quieter. That's the direction we're heading. Quieter and quieter, softer and softer. One gentle breath and one gentle thought at a time, until sleep just arrives, without you even noticing the exact moment it came. You're safe here. You're warm. You've got nowhere to be and nothing to do. The lights are low. The world outside can keep spinning without you for a few hours, and all of your worries have agreed to wait until morning. I've got you from here. All you have to do is listen and breathe and let yourself grow heavier and calmer with every passing minute. So settle in, my friend. Let that pillow cradle your head. Let the day fall away behind you like a shore disappearing in the dark. And let's begin, slowly and softly, this quiet little journey into sleep together. So let's start somewhere gentle, with something your brain does every single day, without ever asking your permission. You know how sometimes you'll hear a song for the first time, and then, hours later, there it is again, playing on a loop somewhere behind your thoughts. That little echo has a name. Scientists call it an earworm, which is a slightly funny word for something so common. And here's the soft, comforting part. It happens to almost everyone. Studies suggest that somewhere around 90% of people get a song stuck in their head at least once a week. So if you've ever laid awake with a chorus repeating itself, gently going round and round, know that you're in enormous company. Millions of people all over the world are lying in their own beds right now with their own little song playing on a loop. There's something kind of lovely about that, isn't there? All of us, quietly humming along to something no one else can hear. And the reason it happens is actually rather sweet when you think about it. Your brain simply loves a pattern it hasn't finished. A song that repeats, a melody with a hook, a little unresolved musical question. Your mind wants to complete it, to tie the bow, to round it off. So it keeps offering it back to you, again and again, hoping you'll finally feel that the loop is closed. It's not a flaw. It's your brain being a diligent little housekeeper, tidying up loose ends. And the funny thing is, the best way to let an earworm fade is often just to stop chasing it, to let it play softly in the background until it quietly wanders off on its own. Which, honestly, is a decent way to treat most of the thoughts that drift through you at this hour. You don't have to grab them. You can just let them play and let them go. Here's another gentle one for you. Have you ever noticed that you can't tickle yourself? Go on. You don't have to try it now. You're far too comfortable. But it's true, and it's true for almost everyone. You can wiggle your own fingers against your own side all you like, and it just doesn't work. And the reason is genuinely tender. Your brain is constantly, quietly predicting what your own body is about to do. Every time you move, a little part of your mind whispers ahead of time, "This is us. This is just us moving." And it softens the sensation before it even arrives. It's why your own touch feels calm, and a stranger's tickle makes you jump. Your brain is always working, softly, behind the scenes, to tell the difference between you and the rest of the world, so that you feel safe inside your own skin. Isn't that a kind thing for it to do? Every waking second, without any effort on your part, it's drawing a gentle line around you and saying, "This part is home." And speaking of home, let me tell you something about the way your memory works, because it's not at all the way most people imagine. We tend to think of memory like a video recording, something filed away exactly as it happened, ready to be played back frame by frame. But that's not really how it goes. Every time you remember something, you're not opening an old file. You're rebuilding the moment, fresh, right there in the present. You're gathering up the pieces and reassembling them, a little differently each time. Which means, in a funny way, the memories you revisit most often are the ones that have changed the most, because you've handled them so many times, like a smooth stone worn soft from being carried in a pocket for years. There's something oddly comforting in that. It means your happiest memories aren't frozen behind glass. They're alive. They grow warmer and gentler each time you return to them. The good ones, the soft ones, the ones you reach for on a quiet night. You've been polishing them your whole life without even knowing it. Now, here's a fact that I find deeply relaxing, and I hope you will too. Your brain, this astonishing thing doing all of this, weighs only about 1.5 kilograms. Just 1.5 kilograms of soft, quiet tissue. And yet inside it, there are something like 86 billion tiny cells called neurons, all whispering to each other in little flickers of electricity. And right now, as you lie there getting heavier and calmer, those billions of cells are gently shifting gears. They're beginning the slow, beautiful work of getting you ready for sleep. You don't have to tell them how. You never learned it, and you never will, and you don't need to. It happens all on its own, the way it has every single night of your life. That's the thing about your body at bedtime. It knows the way home. All you have to do is stop steering for a while and let it carry you. let me tell you about something called the brain's default mode, because it's happening in you right now, softly as you listen. When you stop focusing hard on any one thing, when you let your attention loosen and drift, your brain doesn't go quiet. Instead, a whole network of gentle activity lights up. The part of you that daydreams, that wanders, that imagines, that quietly reflects on your own life. It's the mind at rest, but not asleep. It's the mind wandering down its own soft hallways, opening doors just to see what's inside. And here's the lovely part. Scientists think this wandering, drifting, seemingly aimless state is where a lot of your creativity and your sense of self actually live. So all those moments when you feel like you're doing nothing, staring out a window, letting your thoughts meander, you're not being lazy. You're doing some of the most human work there is. You're being you, quietly, with no audience. And this, right here, this drifting feeling settling over you now, this is your mind slipping gently into exactly that state. Here's another one that always makes people smile when they hear it. You know that warm feeling you get when you help someone, even a total stranger? When you hold a door, or let a car merge in front of you, or say something kind to someone who looked like they needed it. That warmth isn't just in your imagination. Your brain actually releases little waves of feel-good chemicals when you're kind. And here's the beautiful twist. It does it whether you're the one giving the kindness, receiving it, or simply watching it happen from a distance. Just seeing someone be gentle with someone else can lift your whole mood. Researchers even have a name for that lovely, tingly, moved feeling. They call it elevation. So all the small kindnesses you've offered today, and all the ones you never even noticed passing by, they've been quietly warming you the whole time. Your brain is, at its core, built for gentleness. It rewards you for taking care of each other. Isn't that a soft thought to fall asleep on? That deep down, in the very wiring of you, being kind feels good because you were made that way. Let's stay with feelings for a moment, because there's something tender here too. Have you ever cried and felt strangely better afterward? Lighter somehow? Like the storm passed through and left the air clean? There's a reason for that. When you shed emotional tears, the kind that come from feeling, not from chopping onions, your body is quite literally releasing certain stress chemicals through them. Crying is one of the ways your system resets itself, lets the pressure out, and finds its way back to calm. So it's not weakness. It never was. It's your body being wise, doing exactly what it needs to do to feel steady again. And the same tender machinery that lets you cry is the machinery that lets you laugh until your sides hurt, and sigh with relief, and feel that warm ache when something is beautiful. You're built to feel deeply, and then to let those feelings move through you and out the other side, like weather. Nothing stays forever. Not the hard feelings, not the heavy ones. They pass, the way clouds pass, and calm always comes back around. Here's one about the people you love, and it's genuinely touching. When you spend a lot of time close to someone, a partner, a good friend, a family member you've known your whole life, your bodies can begin to sync up in the quietest ways. Your heart rates can start to fall into rhythm with each other. Your breathing can drift into the same slow pace. Couples who've been together a long time have even been found to breathe together without ever meaning to, without even knowing they're doing it. There's a kind of gentle music in that, isn't there? The people we hold close leave their rhythm inside us. We carry a little of their calm around with us all day. So if there's someone you love sleeping near you tonight, or someone you love somewhere far away, know that some soft part of you is probably already keeping time with them, the way it always has. We're so much more connected than we ever realize. And let me tell you something reassuring about worry, since it's often the last unwelcome guest at bedtime. Your brain has a bit of a bias, and it's not your fault at all. It's ancient, hardwired, passed down from long, long ago. Your mind pays more attention to problems and dangers than it does to pleasant things. Because, long ago, the ancestors who worried a little more were the ones who stayed safe and got to pass that carefulness down the line. So if your thoughts sometimes drift toward the difficult stuff, especially in the quiet, that's just an old, protective instinct doing its job a little too enthusiastically. It doesn't mean anything is wrong. It means you have a brain that's been trying to keep you safe for your entire life, maybe a touch overzealously. And here's the freeing part. Once you understand that the worry is just an old alarm, not a true emergency, you can thank it gently and set it down. You can say, "Not now, not tonight," and let it wait outside the door until morning, where it belongs. Here's a soft little fact about time and how oddly your mind measures it. Have you noticed how a boring afternoon can seem to crawl while it's happening? But then, looking back, it feels like it flew by in an instant. And a wonderful, brand new experience feels quick in the moment. Yet in memory, it stretches out long and full. Your brain measures time not by clocks, but by how much it notices. New things, rich things, novel things. They lay down more memory, and so they feel longer when you look back. That's part of why childhood summers felt endless, and why a week somewhere new can feel like a month. And it's a gentle little hint tucked inside a bedtime story. If you want your days to feel fuller, you don't need more hours. You just need to notice a little more, to let yourself be surprised, to pay soft attention to the small new things. But that's a thought for tomorrow. Right now, there's nothing to notice and nowhere to be. Right now, time can do whatever it likes, and you don't have to keep track of any of it. Let me offer you one more before we drift a little deeper, because it's one of the most comforting facts I know. Your brain does some of its most important work while you sleep, not despite the fact that you've let go, but because of it. As you sink down into rest tonight, your mind will quietly go through the day, sorting what happened, tucking the useful things into long-term memory, gently letting the rest fade. It's like a kind, patient librarian moving through the shelves after closing time, putting everything where it belongs, dimming the lights room by room. Scientists have even discovered that during deep sleep, your brain rinses itself clean, flushing away the little bits of waste that build up while you're awake. So sleep isn't time lost. It's not the opposite of living. It's some of the most vital, tender care your body ever gives itself. Every hour you spend asleep tonight, you'll be healing, sorting, cleaning, and quietly getting ready to begin again. There is nothing lazy about rest. It's one of the wisest things a body can do. So you see, my friend, all of this, the songs that loop, the tears that clean, the memories that grow softer, the hearts that sink, the mind that wanders and worries and heals. All of it is just your brain, doing what it has always done, taking care of you in 1,000 quiet ways you never had to ask for. You've been in good hands your whole life, and those hands are your own. And tonight, as always, they'll do the gentle work of carrying you down into sleep. You don't have to help. You don't have to understand any of it. You only have to lie here, soft and warm and heavy, and let the facts drift past you like leaves on slow water, one after another, none of them needing to be held. Just listen. Just breathe. Just let yourself sink a little further with every word. So let's stay here a while longer, you and me, just drifting from one gentle thought to the next. I've got more little facts to share, and none of them need anything from you. You don't have to remember them. You don't have to agree. You can just let them wash over you like warm water, and if you fall asleep somewhere in the middle of one, well, that's honestly the whole point. Here's something soft and strange about the way your mind holds on to faces. You know how you can walk through a crowded place, a train station, a busy street, a party full of strangers, and out of all those hundreds of faces, if a friend is there, your eyes find them almost instantly. It feels like magic, but it's just your brain, quietly doing something it's extraordinarily good at. There's a small patch of tissue near the base of your brain, whose whole job, more or less, is recognizing faces. It's been working since before you could even speak. When you were just a few days old, lying there brand new to the world, you already preferred looking at faces over almost anything else. You came into this life wired to search for the people who would love you, and you've been finding them ever since. So tonight, when your mind drifts, and it will, it might bring you a face or two. Someone you love, someone you miss, someone whose voice still feels like home. Let those faces come. They're not here to keep you awake. They're just your brain, reminding you that you belong to people, and people belong to you. Here's another gentle one. Have you ever noticed that when you're truly relaxed, really and deeply relaxed, your breathing changes all on its own? You don't decide to do it. It just happens. The breath gets slower and longer and softer, and there's this little pause at the bottom of each exhale, like the whole body sighing, letting go. That's your nervous system shifting gears. There's a part of you running quietly in the background at every moment that handles all the things you never have to think about. Your heartbeat, your digestion, the rise and fall of your chest. And it has two settings, more or less. One is for the daytime, for doing and reacting and getting things done. The other is for rest, for repair, for exactly this. When you lie down like this and let your breath grow long, you're sending a signal, a quiet little message that says, we're safe now, we can slow down. And your body listens. It always listens. So if you'd like, let your next breath be just a touch slower than the last. Not forced, not effortful, just a gentle invitation. In through the nose, soft and easy. And out, even slower, like the last light fading from the sky. There. That's the whole thing. Your body already knows how to do this. It's been practicing your entire life. Let me tell you about something researchers noticed about the sound of a human voice, because it might be part of why you're feeling a little heavier already. When someone speaks to you in a low, calm, unhurried way, something in you relaxes almost automatically. It's older than language itself. Long before we had words, we had tone. A parent humming to a baby, the soft murmur of people you trust, talking quietly in the next room while you drift off. Your brain learned very early that a calm voice usually means calm surroundings, that a gentle voice means no danger is near. So when you listen to someone speak softly and slowly, like this, part of your mind reads it as a kind of all-clear signal. Everything's fine. Nobody's worried. You can let go. That's part of why bedtime stories work on children, and honestly, part of why they still work on all of us. No matter how old we get, we never really outgrow the comfort of a quiet voice in the dark, telling us that everything is okay, that we can rest now. That morning will come on its own without us having to hold it up. Here's a lovely little fact about your memory and smell, and it's one of my favorites. Of all your senses, smell has the most direct line to the parts of your brain that handle memory and emotion. The others take a slightly longer road, but scent goes almost straight there, which is why a single whiff of something can knock you sideways with a memory you hadn't thought of in years. The smell of a certain soap, and suddenly, you're small again in someone's kitchen. The smell of rain on warm pavement, and you're somewhere you loved a long time ago. Fresh bread, cut grass, an old book, a particular perfume. These little keys can unlock rooms in your mind you'd forgotten were even there. It's such a tender design when you think about it. The most emotional of your senses is also the most ancient one, the one that reaches furthest back. And tonight, as you settle in, maybe there's a scent in the room, or maybe just a remembered one drifting through your mind. And if there is, let it carry you somewhere kind. Let it be a soft hand leading you gently towards sleep. Now here's something that might make you smile a little in that sleepy, half-there way. Your brain is a bit of a storyteller. In fact, it can't really help itself. All day long, it takes the scattered things that happen to you, the moments, the feelings, the little coincidences, and it quietly weaves them into a story so that your life feels like it makes sense, like it has a shape and a thread running through it. This is a beautiful thing mostly. It's how you make meaning. It's how a random collection of days becomes your life, your story, something that feels whole. But here's the gentle part I want you to hear tonight. Because your brain is always telling the story, you get some say in how it's told. The same day can be remembered as the one where everything went wrong, or the one where you got through something hard and still made it to your bed at the end. Same facts, different story, and the version you tell yourself softly as you fall asleep, that's the one that settles into you overnight. So maybe tonight, the story can be a kind one. Maybe tonight, the story is simply, I made it through another day, and now I get to rest. That's enough. That's more than enough. Here's a quiet fact about warmth, the physical kind. Have you ever noticed that people describe kind folks as warm and unkind ones as cold? It turns out that's not just a figure of speech. Your brain processes physical warmth and emotional warmth in overlapping places. So much so that simply holding something warm, a cup of tea, a mug wrapped in both hands, can actually make you feel a little more trusting, a little more generous, a little more connected to the people around you. Warmth on the skin becomes warmth in the heart. It's why a warm bath before bed feels like more than just getting clean. It's why being tucked under a heavy, warm blanket feels like being held. Your body doesn't draw a sharp line between physical comfort and emotional comfort. to the oldest parts of you. They're nearly the same thing. So notice, right now, the warmth around you, the warmth of the blankets, the warmth of your own body, held in this soft little pocket of heat you've made just by being here. That warmth is telling your whole nervous system that you're cared for. And you are. Let me share one about the way your mind handles unfinished things, because there's a real comfort tucked inside it. You might have noticed that your brain tends to nag you about tasks you haven't finished, more than it congratulates you for the ones you have. A half-written message, an errand you meant to run, a conversation you keep meaning to have. These things tug at you, don't they? There's a name for that pull, that tendency to remember the incomplete more than the complete. And in the daytime, it can be useful. It's what keeps you coming back to finish what you started. But here's the tender secret about it, the part worth knowing tonight. Your brain will quietly let go of that tension the moment it trusts that the thing will get handled. You don't have to actually finish it. You just have to reassure yourself that there's a plan, that tomorrow will hold it, that it's written down somewhere, even if only in the soft promise you make to yourself right now. So if there's something unfinished tugging at you as you lie here, you can simply tell it, "I see you. I'll tend to you tomorrow." You're not forgotten, you're just not for right now. And more often than not, that's all it takes. The pull loosens, the thread goes slack, and you're free to drift. Here's a fact about laughter and rest that I think is quietly wonderful. When you laugh, really laugh, your body releases a whole cascade of the chemicals that ease tension and dull pain. Your muscles relax, your breathing deepens. For a few moments afterward, your whole system runs a little softer, a little looser. It's one of the reasons a good laugh can leave you feeling so pleasantly worn out, in the best way, like you've set down a weight you'd been carrying without noticing. And here's the part I love. Your brain barely knows the difference between a laugh at something genuinely funny and a laugh you started just for the sake of it. The relaxation comes either way, so there's a real physical reason that the people who can laugh easily, who don't take everything so seriously, so often seem to carry their days more lightly. It's not that they have fewer troubles, it's that they let their bodies release the tension instead of holding it. Something to carry gently into tomorrow, but not tonight. Tonight, there's nothing you need to do with any of this. Just let it be true in the background while you rest. Here's one more soft thread before we sink a little deeper. Your sense of touch is the very first sense you ever developed, long before you could see or hear, back when you were smaller than a grain of rice. Touch came first, and it stays with you to the very end, often the last sense to fade. This is why a hand held in a hospital room means so much. Why a hug can say what words can't. Why simply resting your own hand over your own heart, right now, if you'd like, can be so quietly settling. Go ahead if it feels good. Let your hand rest somewhere on yourself, your chest, your belly, wherever feels kind. Feel the warmth of your own palm, the slow rise and fall beneath it. This is one of the oldest comforts there is. You are touching and being touched, giving and receiving comfort in the very same gesture, entirely on your own. There's a completeness in that. You don't need anyone else here tonight to feel held. You've always had this. You always will. And notice, as I talk, how the room seems to be growing quieter around you. Not because the sounds have stopped, but because you're letting them go. one by one, the way you'd set down small stones from a full pocket, the hum of the world outside, the little noises of the house settling, whatever's left of the day still echoing faintly in your ears. You don't have to push any of it away. You just have to stop holding on. Let the sounds be sounds. Let them drift past without a single one of them needing your attention. Your ears will keep listening, softly, the way they always do, keeping watch so that the rest of you can finally, completely let go. That's another quiet kindness your body does for you. Even in the deepest sleep, some small part of you stays gently alert, ready to wake you if you're ever truly needed, so that all the rest of you can rest without fear. You are guarded, always, by your own faithful body. You can trust it to keep you safe tonight, the way it has every single night of your life. So breathe, slow and easy, and let the next fact come whenever it's ready. There's no rush. There's nowhere to be. There's only this, the warmth, the weight, the soft voice in the dark, and the whole quiet miracle of you, lying here, finally letting yourself rest. So breathe, slow and easy, and stay here with me a little longer. There's a fact I've been saving, and it feels right to share it now, while everything's soft and unhurried. Did you know that your brain, all on its own, without asking you first, will fill in the gaps in almost anything you see or hear? If a word is missing from a sentence, you supply it. If a shape is half hidden, you finish it. If a sound cuts out for just a fraction of a second, your mind smooths right over the silence so you never even notice it was gone. You are, in the gentlest way, always completing the world around you. And there's something so tender about that when you think of it. You're not just passively taking things in. You're quietly, constantly, lovingly filling in what's missing, making the world whole enough to rest inside. Even now, in the dark, your mind is doing that for you, softening the edges, blurring the corners, turning the ordinary room around you into a place that feels safe and complete. You don't have to help it. It's already done. And here's a thought that goes hand in hand with that. Your brain uses roughly a fifth of all the energy your body burns in a day, even though it's only a small fraction of your weight. All that thinking, all that dreaming, all that quiet background work of keeping you alive and aware, it costs something. So when you feel tired at the end of a long day, that tiredness is real and it's earned. You've been running the most complex thing we know of in the entire universe all day long, without a single break. Of course you're ready to rest. You've been doing something extraordinary just by being awake, just by paying attention, just by feeling your feelings and thinking your thoughts. Let that sink in for a moment. The very fact that you're tired tonight is proof of how much you gave. And now, finally, you get to give something back to yourself. You get to power down, gently, the way you dim a light in a room you're leaving for the night. Nothing lost, just saved for later. Let me tell you something soft about the way your mind treats the people you love. When you picture someone dear to you, really picture their face, the sound of their laugh, the particular way they say your name. Parts of your brain light up almost exactly the way they would if that person were right there in the room with you. In a very real sense, the people you love live inside you. You carry them everywhere, folded into the quiet architecture of your own mind. which means you're never quite as alone as the world sometimes makes you feel. Everyone who's ever been kind to you, everyone who's ever made you laugh until your sides ached, everyone whose hand you've held, some trace of them is here with you now, woven into who you are. You could call up any one of them just by closing your eyes, and a little part of your brain would answer as if they'd walked back through the door. There's such comfort in that. Tonight, as you drift, you might let one of those faces float up on its own. Someone gentle, someone who made you feel safe. And you can rest right there, in the warmth of a memory that your body treats as real. Here's another one, and it's one of my favorites, because it's about how kind your mind is when you're not looking. You've probably had the experience of wrestling with a problem for hours, getting absolutely nowhere, and then finally giving up and walking away, going for a walk, taking a shower, letting yourself sleep on it. And then, out of nowhere, the answer just arrives. It floats up like a bubble to the surface. That's not luck, and it's not magic. That's your brain, working quietly in the background, long after you thought you'd stopped. When you step away from a problem, part of your mind keeps turning it over, softly, patiently, without any of the pressure you were putting on it. And so often, that quiet, unhurried part is the one that finds the way through, which is a beautiful reason to rest. Sleep isn't giving up. Sleep is handing the problem over to the wisest, calmest part of yourself and trusting it to keep working while you let go. Whatever's been weighing on you lately, whatever puzzle you haven't been able to solve, you can set it down tonight, knowing that some faithful part of you will keep gently tending to it while you sleep. You might even wake with an answer you didn't have when your head touched the pillow. And speaking of sleep, here's a gentle truth about what your mind does when you dream. For a long time, people thought dreams were just random noise, the brain idling with nothing better to do. But it turns out, dreaming might be one of the ways your mind sorts through the day, deciding quietly what to keep and what to let go. It takes the raw, tangled stuff of your waking hours, the conversations, the worries, the small joys, the odd little moments, and it works them over, softening the hard edges, filing away what matters, releasing what doesn't. In a way, dreaming is a kind of housekeeping for the heart. It's how you wake up feeling a little lighter than you did the night before, even when nothing about your circumstances has changed. So if you dream tonight, and you probably will, know that it's your mind taking care of you, tidying up gently while you rest, so that you can meet tomorrow with a little more room inside. You don't have to remember any of it. You don't have to understand it. You just have to let it happen, the way you let your heart beat and your lungs fill, without ever needing to be in charge. Here's a small, warm one to hold on to. Have you ever noticed that when someone smiles at you, a real, genuine smile, it's almost impossible not to feel something soften in you, even just a little? That's because your brain is built to catch emotions the way you might catch a tune. There are cells in your mind whose whole job is to mirror what they see in others, so that when someone near you is calm, some part of you begins to grow calm too. It's why sitting beside a peaceful person can settle you, even in silence. It's why a room full of laughter can lift you before you even know what's funny. And it works in the quietest ways imaginable. Right now, as you listen to this slow, easy voice, some part of your own mind is beginning to match its pace. Slowing down, softening, letting the calm you're hearing become the calm you're feeling. You're borrowing a little peace, and that's exactly what it's there for. That's what we do for each other all the time, without ever meaning to. We pass calm back and forth like a warm blanket shared on a cold night. Let yourself take it now. Let my slow words become your slow breath, and your slow breath become the slow, gentle current that carries you down towards sleep. Let me share one more before we sink a little deeper, because it's so quietly reassuring. Your mind has a remarkable habit of remembering the good things longer and more warmly than the difficult ones, especially as time goes by. It's called, in the softest possible terms, a kind of gentle bias toward the pleasant. The sharp edges of hard days tend to wear smooth over the years, while the warm moments, the laughter, the sunlight, the small kindnesses seem to hold their color. It's not that you forget the hard things entirely. It's that your mind, given enough time, tends to hold the good more gently and more closely, which means the story of your life, as you'll one day tell it to yourself, is quietly tilting toward tenderness, all on its own, without you having to do a single thing. Isn't that a kind thing for a mind to do? To slowly, patiently, gather up the best of your days and keep them where you can reach them. Tonight, you might let one of those warm moments rise up on its own. A day that felt good. A moment you felt loved, and you can rest right there in the soft gold of it, letting it be the last thing you hold before sleep takes you. And notice, as I've been talking, how much heavier and warmer your body has grown. Your breath has slowed without you deciding it should. Your thoughts have gotten softer around the edges, less insistent, more willing to drift. This is exactly how it's meant to go. You're not doing anything wrong by letting the words blur, by losing the thread here and there, by feeling yourself begin to slip toward that warm, dark, welcoming place. That's the whole point. You don't have to follow every fact. You don't have to remember any of them. They're just soft company for you in the dark, little pebbles of wonder to hold loosely in an open hand until your fingers relax and they roll away on their own. Let them. Let everything go a little looser now. Your jaw, your shoulders, the space between your eyebrows, the small muscles around your eyes that have worked so hard all day. Let them all be still. Before you drift off completely, I'd love to leave you with a small invitation, and there's no rush to act on it. It can wait until morning, or the morning after that, whenever it feels easy. If one of these quiet facts settled something in you tonight, or if a certain phrase felt like it was meant just for you, I'd truly love to hear about it down in the comments whenever you have a gentle moment. You could tell me which little truth stayed with you, or simply leave a single word for how you're feeling right now. So soft and heavy and safe. It helps me know what brings you the most comfort. And honestly, there's something lovely about a whole quiet crowd of us, all drifting off in our own separate rooms, leaving little notes for each other in the dark, like candles in different windows. But that's for later, if at all. For now, there's nothing to type, nothing to think, nothing to do but stay right here where it's warm. Let the last of the day dissolve. Let my voice grow faint and far away, like something remembered from a good dream. You've done enough today. You are exactly where you need to be. And I'll keep talking, soft and slow, for as long as you need me to, while you finally, gently, let yourself fall asleep. There's a curious little thing your mind does with faces, and it's one of the gentlest tricks it plays on you. When you look at someone you've known and loved for a long time, your brain isn't really seeing the wrinkles or the tired eyes or the way the years have gathered at the corners of their smile. It's seeing all of them at once, every version of them you've ever known, layered softly on top of each other like pages of light. The way they looked when you first met, the way they laughed at something years ago, the face they made across a table on some ordinary evening you'd otherwise have forgotten. Your mind holds all of it, quietly, and paints it over the person in front of you, so that love, in a very real sense, lets you see through time. Isn't that a soft thing to carry into sleep? That the people you hold dear are never just one moment to you. They're every moment, all at once, kept safe behind your eyes. And here's something close to that. Something about the way your mind keeps company with you, even when no one else is around. You know how, when you're doing something ordinary, washing a few dishes, folding warm laundry, walking a quiet path you've walked 100 times, your thoughts will sometimes wander off and hold little conversations all on their own. You might rehearse something you want to say. You might replay a kind word someone gave you. You might simply narrate the small moment you're in, telling yourself the story of your own quiet evening. This inner voice, this gentle running murmur, is one of the most human things about you. And the loveliest part is that you can soften it, the way you'd lower a light. You don't have to silence it tonight. You can just let it grow slower and quieter and further away, until the words lose their shape and become something more like the sound of distant water. There's nothing it needs to tell you now. Everything it might say can wait for morning. Let me offer you something about warmth, the real, physical kind, because it ties into sleep in a way that feels almost like a secret. When you begin to drift off, your body does something quietly clever. It lets a little heat rise to the surface of your skin, to your hands, your feet, the soft warmth you might feel gathering under the blankets right now. That gentle release of warmth is part of how your body lowers its core temperature to sleep. And it's also why a warm bath before bed, or a pair of soft socks, or simply being tucked in somewhere cozy, can make sleep come so much more easily. Your body has been doing this its whole life. This slow settling of warmth, this dimming of its own inner fire. So if you feel a little heavy heat in your hands right now, a pleasant, drowsy warmth spreading out toward your fingertips, that's not nothing. That's your body beginning its oldest and most familiar ritual, the one it knows better than any other. You don't have to help it along. You only have to let it happen. Here's a gentle one about the way memory and rest fold into each other, and it might make you feel a little proud of the sleep you're falling into. While you sleep, your brain doesn't simply switch off and wait for morning. It gets busy in the softest way, going back over the day, deciding what to keep and what to let dissolve. It takes the small, scattered moments, a face you saw, a word you read, the way the light fell across a room, and it tucks the important ones deeper into you, weaving them into the larger fabric of who you are. In a very real sense, you become more yourself while you sleep. The day gets sorted, gently, without any effort from you at all. So even as you lie here doing what feels like nothing, you're doing something quietly magnificent. You're letting your mind take care of the day. Sift through it. Keep the gold. There's no more useful nothing in the world than the nothing you're doing right now. And speaking of that, let me tell you about a small kindness your memory does with worry. You know how a thing that felt enormous at bedtime, some little tangle, some awkward moment, some task left undone, can look so much smaller by the time the morning comes. That's not just the daylight tricking you. It's your rested mind seeing the same thing with more room around it. Overnight, the sharp emotional edge of a memory tends to soften, even as the memory itself stays clear. Researchers have a lovely way of thinking about this, that sleep is a bit like a gentle overnight therapy, letting you keep what happened while quietly loosening its grip on your feelings. So whatever felt a little tight in your chest today may simply feel lighter tomorrow. Not because anything changed out there in the world, but because you gave your mind the rest it needed to hold it more gently. That's another good reason to let yourself go now. You're not running from the day, you're handing it over to be softened. Here's a quiet one about the sound of rain, or waves, or wind moving through leaves, because it might be part of why so many of us reach for those sounds at night. Your brain, always listening, even as you drift, treats those soft, steady, natural sounds very differently from sharp or sudden ones. A door slamming, a phone buzzing, a voice raised in surprise. Those pull your attention because they might mean something needs you, but the gentle wash of rain, the endless repeating of waves, the hush of wind, these carry no alarm in them at all. They're the sounds of a world that's calm, a world with nothing to warn you about. And so your listening mind, hearing them, quietly concludes that all is well and it's safe to let go. It's a very old kind of reassurance, older than words. Your ancestors slept to those same sounds for thousands upon thousands of years, and something in you still knows them as the lullaby of a safe night. If you're hearing anything soft like that now, let it tell you what it's always told us. Nothing here needs you. You may rest. Let me share something about the number of thoughts that pass through a mind in a day, because it might make you feel tender toward yourself. Some researchers have tried to count the little mental events that come and go in a single day, the fresh starts of new thoughts, and the figures they land on are enormous. Many thousands upon thousands of them, arriving and departing like birds. Just think of that. All day long, your mind has been generating this endless, shimmering stream, one thought after another, most of them coming and going without your ever holding on. And you carried every single one. That's a lot of quiet work for one gentle mind to do in the span of a day. No wonder there's a heaviness in you now, a well-earned heaviness. You've been thinking and feeling and noticing from the moment you woke until this very moment. You've done more today than you'll ever give yourself credit for. So let this be the part of the day where the stream slows to a trickle. The birds are settling, fewer thoughts now, and softer ones, drifting further apart, with more and more quiet space between them. Here's a lovely thing about how your mind treats a familiar place. When you're somewhere you know deeply, your own bed, your own room, the same corner where you've slept 1,000 nights, your brain relaxes a kind of vigilance it would keep in a strange place. There's even a well-known effect where people sleep more lightly on their very first night somewhere new, one half of the brain staying just a little more alert, keeping a soft watch. the way a bird sleeps with one eye toward the world. But in a place you know, a place that's yours, that watchfulness melts away. Your mind has learned this room. It knows the shape of the shadows and the small sounds the walls make at night. It has decided over many nights that here you are safe. So if you're in your own familiar place tonight, let that knowledge sink all the way down. This is a spot your own mind has approved for rest over and over again. You've slept here before, and you'll sleep here now, held by a room that already knows you. Let me tell you something soft about the pace of a calm voice and what it does to a listening body. When someone speaks slowly, with long, easy pauses and a gentle falling tone, the person listening tends, without meaning to begin breathing in time with the rhythm of the words. The speech becomes a kind of quiet metronome, and the breath follows it down. That's part of what's happening right now, in the smallest way, as my words slow and stretch and soften toward the ends of sentences. Some part of you is matching that pace, letting your breath grow long and unhurried to follow along. You don't have to do it on purpose. In fact, it works best when you don't try at all. Just let the words set the tempo, and let your breathing drift toward it, slower with each sentence, deeper with each pause, until the rhythm of the talking and the rhythm of your breath become nearly the same gentle thing, rocking you down. Here's one about the way your mind loves a small ritual, and how much comfort it can wring from the simplest repeated thing. The same handful of movements done in the same order each night. Dimming the lights, smoothing the blanket, settling your head just so, quietly tells your brain what's coming next. Over time, those little steps become a kind of gentle signal, a soft knock at the door of sleep, and your body starts preparing before your mind even catches up. It's why bedtime routines work so well for children, and honestly, why they work just as well for the rest of us, though we sometimes forget to give ourselves the same kindness. If you did any small familiar thing tonight before you settled in, some little gesture you always make, then you've already begun. The signal has already been sent. Your body heard it, and it's been getting ready this whole time, lowering its lights, one room at a time, deep inside you. And here's a tender thought to rest against, about how being spoken to gently can feel almost like being cared for. Long before you understood a single word, back when you were very small, the tone of a calm voice was one of the first things that told you the world was safe. A soothing voice meant someone was near, someone was watching over you, someone had you. And that wiring never really leaves us. All through our lives, a soft and steady voice can reach past all our grown-up thoughts and touch that very old, very simple place that just wants to know it isn't alone. So let my voice do that for you now. It's not asking you to learn anything, or remember anything, or be anything at all. It's just here, soft and near, keeping a little light on while you rest, the way someone once did for you when you were far too small to remember. You aren't alone in the dark. You're being kept company, gently, for as long as you'd like. Let me leave you with one more small wonder before we sink a little deeper, because it's one of the quietest and kindest things I know about the sleeping mind. As you fall asleep, in that soft in-between place you may be drifting toward right now, your thoughts begin to loosen and wander in strange, lovely ways. Ideas that would never touch each other in the bright hours of the day start to brush up against one another in the dark. This drifting, this gentle unraveling of ordinary sense, is where a great many of the world's dreams and inventions and quiet solutions have been born. In that hazy threshold between waking and sleep, when the mind stops holding everything so tightly and lets things float. So if your thoughts are beginning to go a little strange right now, a little dreamlike, a little untethered, that's not you losing your grip. That's you arriving exactly where you're meant to be. That soft, wandering, nonsense-tinged place is the doorway, and you're standing right at the edge of it, about to step gently through. Let your thoughts drift wherever they like now. Let them stop making sense. Let them carry you. Now let me share something soft about the way your mind holds on to the good things, because it's a quieter truth than it seems. You might have heard that we tend to remember the bad more sharply than the good, and there's something to that. But here's the gentler part nobody mentions. When a good memory is safe, when it's truly settled and finished and no longer needs anything from you, your mind stops guarding it so closely. It lets it soften at the edges, blur into a warm glow rather than a sharp picture. That warm glow is your mind's way of telling you it's safe to keep. The people who loved you, the ordinary afternoons that felt like nothing at the time, the small kindnesses handed to you along the way, they don't disappear. They just settle down low, like sediment at the bottom of a still pond, and they color the water of who you are without ever needing to rise to the surface. So even the days you think you've forgotten are still in there, quietly making you gentler, quietly making you you. Nothing good is ever really lost. It just goes somewhere deep and stays. Here's a lovely one about your eyes, though you've probably got them closed by now, which is exactly right. During the day, your eyes are never really still. Even when you think you're staring at one fixed thing, they're making tiny, constant little jumps, dozens of them every second, gathering the world in small, quick sips rather than one long drink. Your brain stitches all those little glimpses together so smoothly that you never notice the seams. You think you're seeing one steady picture, but really, you're seeing 1,000 small ones, blended into something whole. And here's the tender part. The moment you close your eyes and let them rest, all that ceaseless little work begins to quiet. Those tiny muscles that have been darting all day finally get to be still. It's one of the first parts of you to truly let go at night. And when it does, it sends a soft message inward that the gathering is done. The looking is over. There's nothing left to see tonight. So if your eyes feel heavy and still right now, that's a very old kind of rest settling into a very hard-working part of you. Let them stay closed. They've earned it. They've been busy your whole life long. Let me tell you something about the way warmth and safety live in the same place inside you, because it's one of the sweetest little overlaps in the whole mind. Deep in your brain, the feeling of being physically warm and the feeling of being emotionally safe are handled by regions that sit remarkably close together, so close that they seem to lean on one another. That's part of why a warm drink in cold hands can feel like comfort well beyond its temperature, and why being wrapped snugly under a blanket can quiet a worried mind almost as well as any words could. Your body doesn't draw a hard line between being held and being warmed. To the oldest parts of you, they're nearly the same thing. So the warmth you're feeling right now, wherever you're tucked in, isn't just keeping your body comfortable. It's speaking in the quiet language your brain learned long before you had any words at all, saying you're safe, you're held, you can rest now. Let that warmth do its gentle work. Let it spread from wherever it started, your feet, your hands, the small of your back, and let it carry the message everywhere it goes. Warm and safe, warm and safe. There's no difference tonight. Here's a gentle wonder about how much your mind trusts a rhythm. Think about how a rocking motion soothes almost anyone. A baby in a cradle, a passenger drifting off in a moving car, someone swaying slowly in a hammock under the trees. That slow, steady, repeating motion speaks to something very deep and very old in us. Long before you were born, you spent your earliest days rocked gently by every step your mother took. A constant soft sway that meant everything was carrying on as it should. That rhythm became one of your very first understandings of the world. That steady motion means safety, means being carried, means you don't have to do a single thing but be held and moved along. And even now, all these years later, a slow and steady rhythm can reach that same old place. The rise and fall of your own breathing is its own quiet rocking. The steady, unhurried pace of a calm voice is a kind of sway. You're being gently rocked right now in ways too soft to see, and the oldest part of you recognizes it and remembers at last that it's safe to let go and be carried. Let me share something tender about the small, forgettable moments, because they matter more than they seem. Your mind doesn't keep the big dramatic events at the center of who you are. Not really. What it truly runs on, day after day, are the tiny ordinary moments. The particular way the light comes through a window in the afternoon. The sound of a familiar door opening. The smell of something cooking that instantly means home. These little things are the real furniture of a life. The pieces your mind reaches for when it wants to feel steady and safe. And the beautiful thing is that you're building more of them all the time, without even trying. This very night, this quiet, unremarkable night, is quietly becoming one of those small anchors. The feeling of this blanket, the softness of this voice, the particular heaviness of your body sinking down. Someday, without meaning to, your mind might reach for the memory of a night just like this one and feel calm wash over it, not knowing exactly why. You're not just resting tonight. You're gently laying down a small stone of peace that some future version of you will find and lean on. Isn't that a kind thing to be doing without any effort at all? Here's a soft one about how your mind quiets the small aches of the day. You might not have noticed, but all through your waking hours, your body has been keeping a low running tally of every little discomfort. The slight strain in your shoulders, the tension you've been holding in your jaw, the 100 tiny signals that ordinarily get lost beneath the noise of a busy day. As you settle into rest, something merciful happens. Your mind slowly turns down the volume on all of it. The signals don't vanish exactly, but they stop demanding your attention, one by one, like a room full of chatter gradually going quiet as people drift off to sleep. This is why an ache that nagged at you all afternoon can simply melt away once you're truly relaxed, and why the moment of finally lying down can feel like such profound relief. Your body has been waiting all day for permission to stop keeping score, and now tonight, you've given it. So let each small tension be noticed and then released. Let your shoulders drop a little lower. Let your jaw go soft. Let your body finish its counting and set the whole ledger down. Let me tell you something quietly reassuring about how your brain treats the sound of your own breathing. As you breathe slowly and evenly, the sound and feeling of that breath becomes a kind of anchor your mind can hold on to, a steady point in the dark that never asks anything of you. There's a reason so many ways of finding calm, from all across the world and all across time, come back to the simple act of noticing the breath. It's always there. It's always moving. It's the one rhythm you carry everywhere you go, from your very first moment to your very last. And when your mind grows tired of chasing thoughts, it can always come home to this. The soft pull of air coming in, the gentle release of it going out, over and over, needing no effort, no decision, no work of any kind. Your breath has been faithfully keeping you alive every single second of your life, through every joy and every hard day, never once asking for thanks or even for your attention. Tonight, you can simply rest in its company, this old and loyal friend, and let it carry you down, breath by breath, into sleep. Here's a gentle fact about how deeply your mind loves a familiar face. When you picture someone you love, really bring them to mind. The shape of their face, the sound of their laugh, the way they say your name. Your brain lights up in much the same way it does when they're actually there beside you. The distance between imagining someone and being with them is far smaller inside your mind than it is out in the world. This is a quiet mercy when you think about it. It means the people who matter to you are never truly far away. They live inside you, woven into the very structure of your thoughts, ready to be summoned by nothing more than a memory. So if there's someone you love who can't be here tonight, someone far away, or someone you miss, or someone you can only visit now in memory, you can still bring them close. You can hold the thought of them like something warm in your hands as you drift off. Your mind won't know the difference, not really. To the tender parts of you, love felt is love received. And you are loved, more than you likely know, by people whose faces your mind keeps safe and near. Let me offer you something soft about the way rest rebuilds you. There's a common idea that sleep is a kind of nothing, a blank stretch where you simply switch off and wait to be turned back on. But nothing could be further from the truth. While you sleep, some of the busiest and most important work of your entire life is quietly taking place. Your body mends itself in 100 small ways. Your mind sorts through the day, keeping what matters and gently letting go of what doesn't. Connections deep in your brain are strengthened, tidied, and made ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Sleep isn't an absence. It's one of the most productive, most healing things you will ever do. And the beautiful part is that it asks absolutely nothing of you. You don't have to try. You don't have to help. You couldn't do it better by working harder at it. All you have to do is let go and let it happen, the way you'd let a gentle tide come in. So there's no such thing as wasting this time. Every minute you drift is a minute of quiet repair, a minute of your body and mind lovingly putting you back together. Rest is not lazy. Rest is one of the wisest things a living thing can do. Here's a tender little truth about how your mind measures a good day. When you look back on your life, your mind doesn't tally up the hours the way a clock would, or count the tasks the way a list might. What it remembers What it truly saves are the moments you felt something soft, a moment of being understood, a moment of quiet beauty, a moment when someone was simply kind to you for no reason at all. These are the pieces your mind treasures and keeps. And it means that a day doesn't have to be grand or productive or impressive to be worth remembering. It only has to hold one small moment of tenderness. Maybe today held one for you. Maybe it was tiny, a stranger's smile, a warm cup in your hands, a single line in a song that landed just right, or even just this quiet time you've given yourself right now to be soothed and cared for. Whatever it was, your mind noticed it, and it will keep it. So as you drift off tonight, you can trust that today counted for something, in the only ledger that really matters. And tomorrow will bring its own small moment, and the day after that, its own. More of them than you could ever hold, laid down gently for the rest of your life. Let me share one more before we sink a little deeper, because it's such a soft place to rest. Your mind, for all its cleverness and all its endless busy chatter, wants nothing more in the end than for you to feel safe. Everything it does, even the worrying, even the restless nights, even the thoughts that circle when you wish they'd stop, all of it comes from a place that is only trying, in its clumsy and devoted way, to keep you well. Tonight you can thank it, gently, and tell it that its work is done for now. You can let it know that you're safe, that you're warm, that nothing more needs solving before morning. And you might feel it begin to believe you. That great, tireless, loving mind of yours finally allowing itself to slow, to soften, to trust that it can lay its burden down for a few hours and simply rest alongside you. You've both worked so hard, you and your mind, through this whole long day and every day before it. Now the two of you can be still together, quiet together, safe together, sinking down gently into the same soft dark, with nothing left to do but let the night carry you both toward morning. Let me tell you something soft about the way your mind holds on to the sound of a familiar name. You know how, even in a room full of noise, if someone says your name across the way, you'll turn toward it before you've even decided to. That's your brain, keeping one quiet ear open just for you, always. But here's the tender part. It does the same thing for the names of the people you love. Their names live in a special little corner of you, wired in over years of hearing them, saying them, calling them softly across a room. And when you think of one of those names tonight, half drifting, barely awake, your brain treats it almost like a warm hand on your shoulder. So if there's a name that means home to you, let it float up now, gently, no effort required. Let it settle over you like a blanket that's been warmed by the fire. You don't have to do anything with it. Just let it be there, keeping you company as you sink. Here's something quiet and lovely about the way your body knows how to comfort itself. When you were very small, long before you had words for any of it, you learned that a slow, steady rhythm meant everything was okay. A heartbeat close to yours, a voice humming low, the gentle rise and fall of being held, and your body never forgot that lesson. To this very day, when things slow down, when your breath lengthens, when your pulse eases, when the world around you goes soft and unhurried, some ancient part of you recognizes the pattern and thinks, ah yes, this is safety. This is the rhythm of being cared for. You don't have to teach yourself to relax. You already know how. You've known since before you could remember. And tonight, as everything slows around you, that old, deep knowing is waking up, quietly taking over, doing for you now exactly what it always did. Reminding your whole body that it's all right to let go. Let me share a gentle little truth about how your mind decides what's worth worrying about. During the day, your brain runs a kind of constant, quiet triage, sorting through everything and asking, does this need my attention right now? Most of the time it does this so smoothly you never notice. But here's the beautiful thing that happens at night. As your body settles and the signals of safety start rolling in, the dark, the warmth, the stillness, the softness beneath you, your brain begins quietly moving things off the urgent list. One by one, the worries that felt so pressing get gently reclassified. Not gone, not solved, just set aside, filed under "not for now." It's as if your mind walks through the house of your thoughts, turning off the lights, room by room, whispering, "This one can wait, and this one too." And you might already feel it happening, that soft loosening, that sense of things you were carrying quietly slipping out of your hands. You don't have to hold them anymore tonight. Your mind knows the difference between what needs solving now and what can rest until the sun comes back. And almost nothing, it turns out, truly needs solving now. Here's a small wonder about the way your senses fade at the edge of sleep. And it's one of the kindest tricks your body plays. As you drift, your brain slowly turns down the volume on the outside world. Not all at once, but gradually, like someone easing a dimmer switch. The sounds in the room grow softer and further away. The feeling of the blanket, the pillow, the mattress beneath you begins to blur into one gentle, undefined sense of being held. Even your own body starts to feel a little less like a collection of separate parts, and a little more like one warm, heavy, settled whole. This isn't something going wrong. This is exactly right. This is your nervous system doing precisely what it evolved to do, drawing you inward, away from the busy surface of the world, and down into the deep, quiet place where rest lives. So if you notice the room growing distant, if the sounds seem to soften and recede, don't reach after them. Let them go. That fading is the doorway, and you're already halfway through it. Let me tell you something tender about how your brain treats a promise you make to yourself. You know how sometimes, right before sleep, you'll decide something simple. I'll deal with that tomorrow. I'll rest now. I'll let this go until morning. It can feel like such a small thing, almost too small to matter. But your mind takes those little promises seriously, more seriously than you'd think. When you tell yourself clearly and kindly that something can wait, a quiet part of your brain actually relaxes its grip. It's as though it needed to hear you say it out loud, or almost out loud, before it could truly stand down. So here's what you might do tonight, if it feels easy. Just tell yourself softly that whatever's left undone can keep until morning, that you've done enough for one day, that right now your only job is to rest. And notice how your mind, hearing that, seems to exhale along with you. It's been waiting for permission all day. And now, at last, you're giving it. Here's a gentle fact about warmth and closeness that I find endlessly comforting. When two people who care about each other sit near one another in comfortable silence, not talking, not doing anything in particular, just being in the same warm space. Their bodies quietly begin to settle each other. Heart rates ease, breathing slows. The whole nervous system reads the presence of someone safe nearby and lets down its guard. And here's the part that matters even if you're all alone tonight. Your mind can conjure that same feeling from memory. You don't need someone physically beside you to summon the warmth of good company. You can bring to mind a person who has ever made you feel safe. The way they sat with you, the sound of their voice, the particular comfort of their presence. And your brain will offer you a real echo of that ease. It's not pretend. It's a genuine gift your mind gives you. A way of carrying your safe people with you always, tucked inside, ready to soothe you on any quiet night when you need it. So if you'd like, invite one of them in now. Let them sit beside you in the dark. They'll keep you company as you drift. Let me share something soft about the way your body handles the end of a long day. All through your waking hours, whether you noticed or not, your muscles have been quietly working, holding you upright, carrying you from place to place, bracing against 1,000 small demands. Even when you thought you were resting, there was a low hum of effort running underneath it all, a readiness your body kept just in case. But now, in the dark, in the stillness, that readiness is finally allowed to dissolve. Your muscles are getting the message, one group at a time, that the day is truly over. The work of holding is done. And so they're beginning to release, to lengthen, to grow heavy and warm and soft against the surface beneath you. You might feel it most in the big, tired places first. The shoulders, the back, the legs that carried you all day. Let them go. They've earned this. Every fiber of you is being told, at last, that it's safe to stop holding on. And there's such a deep, animal relief in that letting go, isn't there? The relief of a body that's done its work and is finally, fully allowed to rest. Here's a quiet little truth about the way your mind wanders as you fall asleep. You may have noticed that your thoughts, right about now, are getting a bit strange, drifting from one thing to another without much logic. Images floating up that don't quite connect, half scenes that dissolve before you can catch them. If you've been lying here noticing your mind do this, I want you to know it's one of the loveliest signs there is. That loosening, that softening of the thread that usually holds your thoughts in a neat line. That's your brain slipping out of its daytime gear and into the drifting, dreamlike current that carries you down into sleep. It's called the hypnagogic state, that gentle borderland between waking and dreaming. And it's a place your mind has visited every single night of your life. You don't need to make sense of any of it. You don't need to follow the images or figure out where they're going. Just let them come and go, like clouds you're watching from far below. Each odd little thought, each drifting picture, is a small sign that you're doing this exactly right, that you're already halfway home. Let me tell you something reassuring about how little your body actually needs from you right now. During the day, staying alive and well feels like a full-time job, doesn't it? You have to eat, move, decide, respond, keep track of 100 things. But as you sleep, almost all of that is taken out of your hands entirely. Your heart keeps its own steady time without a single instruction from you. Your lungs rise and fall on their own, faithfully, all night long. Your body regulates its own warmth, mends its own small wounds, tens to 1,000 quiet processes you never have to think about even once. There is a whole vast intelligence inside you that runs the night shift with perfect competence, asking absolutely nothing of your conscious mind, but that it step aside and rest, so you can truly let go completely. You are not the one keeping yourself alive tonight. Something older and wiser than your worrying thoughts has that handled, and it has never once dropped the thread, not on any night you've ever lived. You are held from the inside. You always have been. Here's a small and gentle wonder about the way memory softens over time. You might think that the things you remember stay fixed, sharp-edged, exactly as they were. But the truth is kinder than that. Each time you revisit a memory, your mind touches it lightly and sets it back down again. And in the touching, it changes a little, smoothing here, softening there. The sharpest edges of the hard days tend to wear down with each remembering, while the warm moments, the ones you return to because they feel good, get polished and kept close. It's as though your mind is slowly, gently curating a gallery of your life, and it has a quiet preference for tenderness. Given enough time and enough kind attention, even difficult chapters can settle into something you can hold without being cut by them. So if there's anything from the day or from long ago that still feels a little sharp tonight, you can trust that time and rest are already at work on it, softening it by degrees, the way water smooths a stone. You don't have to do that work consciously. Sleep does a great deal of it for you, night after night, while you simply rest. Let me share something soft about the sound of stillness itself. When a room goes truly quiet, not silent exactly, but hushed, with only the smallest sounds remaining, the faint whisper of your own breath, the soft settling of the house around you, your brain reads that quiet as a message. In the long stretch of our history, deep quiet almost always meant that all was well, that no danger was near, that it was safe to lower your guard and let sleep come. Loud, sudden, jagged sounds put us on alert, but soft, low, steady quiet does the opposite. It tells the oldest parts of your brain that you can finally rest. And so this hush around you now isn't empty. It's full of reassurance. Every quiet moment that passes without alarm is another small confirmation to your nervous system that you are safe here, that nothing needs your watching, that you can let yourself sink further with each passing breath. Listen, if you like, to the gentle nothing of this moment. Let it hold you. Let it tell you over and over in its wordless way that all is well, that all is well, that all is well. Here's a tender little fact about how your mind treats kindness you've shown to others. You might not realize it, but every time you were gentle with someone, every time you were patient when you didn't have to be, every time you offered a soft word or a helping hand, your brain kept a quiet record of it, not as a scorecard, nothing so cold as that, but as a warm, steadying sense of who you are. On the nights when you're kind to yourself, that record is part of what makes it possible. You are, at some deep level, shaped by the gentleness you've shown, and it comes back to you now as a kind of quiet self-worth, a sense that you are someone who cares, someone who tries, someone who means well in a difficult world. And that is worth resting on tonight. Whatever else the day held, whatever went right or wrong, you carried some kindness through it, even in small ways, even when it was hard. That kindness is part of you now, woven in, and it's part of what makes you deserving of exactly the rest you're giving yourself right now. So let yourself receive it. You've been good to others. Now let the night be good to you. Let me tell you something quietly beautiful about how your brain marks the passage from day to night. There's a rhythm inside you, older than any clock, that has been keeping time since long before you were born. Rising and falling with the light, cueing you to wake as the world brightens and to slow as it dims. And that inner rhythm has been reading the signals all evening. The fading light, the cooling air, the winding down of activity, the growing stillness. It has been quietly preparing you for hours, releasing the gentle chemistry of sleep in a slow, rising tide, getting you ready for exactly this moment. So the drowsiness you may be feeling now isn't random, and it certainly isn't a failing. It's the beautiful, precise work of a body that knows how to bring you to rest, that has done it thousands of times, that is doing it right now with all the quiet skill of long practice. You are being carried towards sleep by a rhythm you were born with, one that has never truly failed you. All you have to do is trust it and let it take you the rest of the way down into the soft and welcoming dark. There's something I've always found lovely about the way your brain handles the idea of home. And I don't just mean a place with walls and a roof. I mean the feeling of home, that particular softness that comes over you when you're somewhere that knows you. Researchers have noticed that when a person settles into a familiar, safe space, the parts of the brain that stay on guard, the ones always scanning, always checking, always asking quietly whether everything's all right, begin to loosen their grip. They don't have to work so hard anymore. And you're in one of those places right now. Wherever you are, you've chosen it. You've made it yours. And your brain understands that. It knows the shape of this room, the particular quality of this quiet, the way the air feels here. So it's letting go of a job it's been doing all day long. It's setting down the watchfulness. And that letting go is part of what sleep is made of. You don't have to do anything to make it happen. You've already done the only thing that mattered, which was to come somewhere safe and let yourself be still. Here's a small and tender thing about the way your mind treats repetition, the gentle kind. You know how a phrase, said softly and said again, can start to lose its edges and become almost like a lullaby. There's a reason for that. When your brain hears something familiar and unthreatening over and over in a slow and even rhythm, it stops treating each repetition as new information to be analyzed. It relaxes. It settles into the pattern the way you might settle into a warm bath, letting the sameness carry you rather than examining it. This is part of why the oldest songs we sing to children are so simple, so repetitive, so circular. They're not trying to teach anything. They're trying to soothe, and repetition is one of the softest tools we have. So if some of these words wash over you tonight and blur together, if you lose the thread and don't quite know where one thought ended and another began, that's not a problem at all. That's the whole idea. You're not here to follow along. You're here to be carried, and letting the words become a gentle blur is exactly how the carrying works. Let me share something quietly comforting about the way your body knows how to heal itself while you rest, all through the night, in ways you'll never feel and never have to manage. Your body is at work, mending small wear from the day, tending to tissue, sorting and storing what your mind gathered while you were awake. There's a whole rising tide of quiet repair that happens most deeply in the hours of sleep, when you finally handed the reins over completely. Think about that for a moment. The very act of letting go, of stopping, of doing nothing at all, is what opens the door to all this careful mending. You don't have to understand it or direct it. You couldn't speed it up if you tried, and you couldn't stop it either. It simply happens, the way a garden grows in the dark, the way a tide comes in without being asked. So the deeper you sink tonight, the more you allow this quiet work to unfold. Rest isn't a pause in the living of your life. It's one of the most alive things your body does, and it's doing it for you right now, asking nothing in return except that you let yourself be still. Here's a soft little truth about how your brain treats the difference between the things you can change and the things you can't. During the day, this line gets blurry. Everything feels like it needs your attention, your effort, your solving. But as you drift towards sleep, a kind of wisdom settles in. An old and gentle understanding that the night is not the time for fixing. Whatever's still unfinished will still be there in the morning, and it will be easier then, met by a rested mind and the clean light of a new day. Your brain seems to know this deep down. It knows that some things simply cannot be solved in the dark, and that trying to solve them now only keeps you from the rest that would make them solvable later. So tonight, you have my quiet permission, if you want it, to set every unsolved thing gently aside. Not to abandon it, just to let it wait. It will keep. It will still be there. And you'll meet it tomorrow as a stronger, softer, more rested version of yourself. For now, there is nothing to fix. There is only this, and this is enough. Let me tell you about something researchers have noticed about the way warmth spreads through the body as sleep approaches. As you begin to drift, the blood moves a little more toward the surface of your skin, toward your hands and your feet, carrying a gentle heat outward. It's part of how your body cools its center to prepare for deep rest. And it's why your hands and feet often feel warmer just as you're falling asleep. If you notice that warmth in your fingertips or your toes right now, that soft spreading heat at the edges of you, that's your body doing exactly what it's meant to do. It's a signal, quiet and sure, that you're crossing over from waking into rest. You don't have to make it happen. It's already underway. And there's something lovely about letting yourself feel it. That slow bloom of warmth moving outward, like the last light of the day settling into the horizon. Let it spread. Let it tell you that you're on your way, that the crossing has already begun, that all you have to do now is follow the warmth down into sleep. Here's a gentle little fact about how your mind treats the sound of a story that asks nothing of you. When you were small, someone may have read to you at night, and you probably don't remember most of the actual stories. What you remember, if you remember anything, is the feeling, the safety of a voice going on and on, the way you could let go of following the plot and just float on the sound of it. Your brain learned very early that a voice like that meant you were watched over, that someone was keeping the world in order while you let yourself drift. And that learning never really goes away. It stays with you your whole life. So even now, as an adult who has weathered so much and carried so much and figured out so many things on your own, some part of you can still receive the simple comfort of a voice in the dark that wants nothing from you. You can let it take you back to that early safety, that sense of being small and held and free of every responsibility. There's no shame in wanting that. It's one of the oldest comforts we have, and it's available to you right now, exactly as it was then. Let me share something soft about the way your brain lets go of the day's small frustrations. Think of all the little snags you hit today. The thing that took longer than it should have. The moment someone was short with you. The plan that didn't quite come together. The words you wish you'd found sooner. During the day, these things pile up quietly, each one leaving a small residue. But here's the tender part. As you sleep, your mind sorts through all of it, and it has a remarkable habit of keeping what's useful while letting the sting fade from the rest. The lesson stays, but the ache softens. That's why a frustration that felt so sharp at dinner can feel almost weightless by morning. More like a story that happened to someone else than a wound you're still carrying. Your brain is doing this sorting for you tonight, gently, without any effort on your part. So you can hand it all over now. Every small snag, every little sting. Let the night take them and do with them what it does so well. In the morning, you'll find that much of the weight has quietly lifted, the way mist lifts off a field as the sun comes up. Here's a quiet wonder about how connected you are to the rhythms of the world around you, even now, even in stillness. All through history, in every corner of the earth, human beings have laid themselves down at the end of the day and given themselves over to sleep. Right now, all across the world, countless others are doing exactly what you're doing, settling into the dark, letting the day go, trusting themselves to rest. You're part of something vast and old and utterly ordinary in the best possible way. There's nothing strange about needing this, nothing to prove, nothing that sets you apart. You're simply doing what every living person has always done, what your ancestors did by firelight and under open skies, what your children and their children will do long after. There's a deep comfort in that belonging, in knowing you're not alone in this nightly surrender. The whole turning world lies down in its own time, and you're lying down with it, one small, warm point of rest among countless others, all of you carried by the same old rhythm, all of you letting the day come to its close. Let me tell you something reassuring about how your brain treats the passage into sleep itself. You might imagine that falling asleep is a single moment, a sudden click from awake to unconscious, like a light being switched off. But it isn't like that at all. It's a slow and gentle descent, a gradual softening through layer after layer, each one lighter and more peaceful than the last. You drift down by degrees, and at every level, something more of the day is released, something more of the tension unwinds. There's no cliff to fall off, no threshold you have to cross by force. There's only this slow and easy sinking, this settling deeper and deeper into rest, the way a leaf drifts down through still water, turning slowly, in no hurry at all. So you don't have to try to fall asleep. You couldn't force it if you wanted to, and you don't need to. All you have to do is allow the sinking, let each layer give way to the next. Trust the slow descent that's already carrying you. There's no work here, no effort, no moment you have to get right. There's only the gentle going down, and you're already on your way. Here's a small and lovely thing about the way your mind treats the feeling of being finished for the day. There's a particular relief that comes when you finally decide there's nothing more to be done. When you set the last thing down and give yourself permission to stop. Your brain registers that permission almost like a physical release, a loosening in the chest, a softening behind the eyes. For hours, some part of you has been holding a low hum of readiness, a sense that there might be one more thing to handle. And now, tonight, you're letting that hum fade. You've decided you're done, and that decision is a gift you're giving yourself. There's nothing more that needs doing tonight. Nothing more will be asked of you until morning. The day is complete, whatever it held, and you've earned the right to lay it down entirely. So take that permission fully now. Feel the relief of it, the deep and simple relief of being finished, of having nowhere else to be and nothing else to carry. The day is over. You did what you could, and now, at last, you get to rest. Let me share one more before we sink a little deeper, because it's such a gentle place to rest your mind. Your brain, even in the deepest sleep, keeps a soft ear open for one thing above all others. Not danger, not noise, but the sound of being cared for. It's why a sleeping parent will wake at the faintest cry of a child, yet sleep straight through a thunderstorm. Your mind knows, at the deepest level, the difference between what threatens and what loves. And tonight, there's nothing but the loving kind of quiet around you. Every sound in this space, if there are any at all, is a soft one, a safe one, the sound of a world that means you no harm. So the part of you that listens can rest too. It can stop straining. It can trust that if anything truly needed you, you would know, and that nothing does. Everything is exactly as it should be. You are held by a quiet that wishes you nothing but rest, watched over by a mind that knows how to keep you safe even as you let go. So let go a little more now. Sink a little deeper. There is nothing here but softness, nothing but safety, nothing but the gentle dark waiting to carry you the rest of the way. There's something worth knowing about the way your brain treats a familiar melody. And it's one of the softest little facts I've ever come across. When you hear a song you've known for years, your mind doesn't have to work very hard at all to follow it. It already knows where every note is going, where the pause will fall, where the voice will rise and then come gently back down. And because it knows, it can relax. There's a kind of ease that settles over the mind when it's given something it already understands, something with no surprises left in it. That's part of why the songs from long ago can feel so much like a warm blanket. They ask nothing of you. They hold no mysteries you have to solve. Your brain can simply rest inside the shape of them, carried along by a pattern it's traveled 1,000 times before. And tonight, in a way, that's what this is too. My voice, the slow and steady rhythm of it, the gentle rise and fall. Your mind is beginning to learn its shape, beginning to trust that nothing here will jolt you or pull you back, so you can let it become like an old song, something you don't have to follow closely, something that can just wash over you while you sink a little further down. Here's a tender thing about the way your brain handles the faces of the people who've been kind to you. Somewhere in that quiet, patient mind of yours, there's a kind of gallery, not one you ever consciously built, but one that assembled itself over the years, image by image, the face of someone who was gentle with you when you were small, the face of a friend who stayed on the phone with you late into the night once, when you really needed it, the face of a stranger who did one small good thing and then walked out of your life forever, never knowing you'd remember. Your brain kept all of them. And here's the lovely part. When you feel safe, when you're warm and calm and drifting like this, those are the faces that tend to float up on their own. Not the ones who hurt you, not the difficult ones. The mind, left to its own devices in a moment of real safety, reaches for the people who made it feel held. It's as though some deep part of you knows which memories are good for you and offers them up like small gifts when you finally slow down enough to receive them. So if a kind face drifts through your thoughts tonight, let it stay a moment. It came to keep you company on the way down. Let me tell you something quietly wonderful about the way your body handles temperature as you fall asleep. You might not have noticed, but in order to drift off, your core actually cools down a little. It's one of the signals your body uses to tip itself over the edge into sleep. A slight, gentle lowering of your inner temperature, like a house settling as the evening cools. And here's the curious part. To let that inner warmth escape, your body sends it out to your hands and your feet. That's why, when you're getting truly sleepy, your fingers and toes often grow warm and heavy. It's not a random thing. It's your body opening its windows, letting the day's heat drift out through your edges so that the center of you can cool and quiet and settle toward rest. So if you notice a soft warmth gathering in your hands right now, or a heaviness spreading through your feet, you can smile a little at that. It means the whole clever machinery of sleep is already turning. Your body knows exactly what it's doing. It's done this every single night of your life, and it doesn't need a single instruction from you tonight. It's already carrying you gently toward the place you're going. Here's a soft one about the way your mind treats repetition. The same small comfort said over and over. Think about the sound of rain on a roof, or waves arriving one after another on a shore, or the slow tick of an old clock in a quiet room. None of these sounds are exactly the same each time, and yet they're close enough, familiar enough, that your brain stops trying to track each one individually. Instead, it relaxes into the overall pattern, the gentle sameness of it, and something in you lets go. Researchers have found that steady, repeating sounds like these actually help quiet the more alert, watchful parts of the brain. There's nothing new to catalog, nothing that needs your attention, just the same soft rhythm returning again and again, promising that the next moment will be very much like this one. And that promise, it turns out, is deeply soothing to a mind. It's the opposite of the sharp, sudden things that keep us on edge. So let the steadiness of this moment be like that rain, like those waves. Nothing here is going to change abruptly. The next breath will be like this one. The next soft word will follow the last. You can settle into the sameness and trust it completely. Let me share something gentle about the way your brain lets go of the things you were carrying in your hands all day. Not physical things, but all the little bits of information you were holding. Think about how many small facts you had to keep in mind today. Where you left your keys, what time something was happening, the thing you meant to say to someone, a grocery list, a password, the name of a person you'd just met. All day long, your mind was juggling dozens of these little items, keeping them close, ready to grab. It's genuinely tiring work, even though you rarely notice you're doing it. But here's the beautiful thing about sleep. As you drift off, your brain begins to sort through all of that, deciding what to keep and what it can safely release. Most of those small, urgent-feeling facts simply get let go, because they were only ever meant for today. You don't have to hold them anymore. The keys will be where you left them. Tomorrow's schedule will still be there in the morning. There's nothing on that mental list that needs guarding through the night. So you can open your hands, in a manner of speaking, and let all those little things drift away. They've served their purpose. You're allowed to put every single one of them down now, and pick up only what matters when the light comes back. Here's a quiet marvel about the way your brain and your breath are speaking to each other right now, in a language older than words. You might think of breathing as something automatic, something that just happens in the background while your mind does the important work. But the two are far more connected than that. When your breath slows, it sends a message inward, a signal traveling to the deep, ancient parts of your brain that manage calm and safety. And that signal says, very simply, all is well. There's no need to be ready. You can stand down. Your brain, receiving this, begins to loosen its grip, to lower its guard, to shift the whole body toward rest. It's a conversation happening entirely without your involvement. And it's happening right now, as your breathing settles into something slower and softer than it was when you first lay down. Each unhurried breath is quietly telling your mind that the danger of the day has passed, that this is a safe place, that it's finally all right to let go. You don't have to say anything. Your breath is saying it all for you, and your brain is listening and believing and beginning to rest. Let me tell you something tender about the way your mind treats kindness you've received, but never got to repay. Somewhere in your life, someone did something for you that you could never fully return. Maybe they're gone now. Maybe you lost touch. Maybe you didn't even fully understand at the time how much it mattered. And you might carry a small, quiet ache about that, the sense of a debt you can't settle. But here's what your mind understands, even if it doesn't often say so out loud. Kindness was never really meant to be paid back to the one who gave it. It was meant to be passed along, carried forward, handed to the next person who needs it. Every gentle thing you've ever done for someone else was, in a way, a repayment of a kindness you once received from someone who's long since forgotten they gave it. It moves through the world that way, from hand to hand, generation to generation, never returning to where it started, but never truly lost either. So you can set that ache down tonight. You've been passing it forward all along, whether you knew it or not. The account is more balanced than you think. Here's a soft one about the way your brain treats the darkness itself. For a lot of our history, human beings were a little afraid of the dark, and for good reason. It hid the things that might hurt us. But your brain also learned something else about the dark over all those thousands of years, something gentler. It learned that darkness is when the danger usually passes, when the tribe gathers close, when the work stops and the resting begins. Deep in your mind, the coming of the dark is tangled up not just with fear, but with the memory of countless nights that ended safely, countless mornings that arrived on schedule, countless times the darkness came and went and left you unharmed. That's why, once you feel truly safe, the dark can become one of the most comforting things there is. It wraps around you. It softens the edges of the room. It tells the watchful part of your mind that the day's demands are over. There's nothing left to see, nothing left to do, nothing left to guard against. The dark is holding you now, the way it's held sleeping people since the very beginning, and it means you nothing but rest. Let me share something quietly beautiful about the way your brain rehearses calm. You've probably noticed that the more often you do something, the easier it becomes. The path gets worn smooth. The effort falls away. This is true of physical things, like learning to ride a bike. But it's just as true of inner things, like learning to relax. Every single time you let yourself drift off gently, every time you sink into rest without a struggle, you're strengthening a kind of pathway in your mind, a well-traveled route toward calm. And the more you travel it, the more naturally your brain finds its way there. So tonight isn't just about tonight. Each easy breath you take, each layer of tension you release, is teaching your mind the way home. You're practicing something, quietly, that will make the next night a little easier. And the night after that, easier still. It's a skill, in the gentlest sense of the word, the skill of letting go. And you're getting better at it right now, without even trying, simply by allowing this softness to carry you. There's something lovely in that. You're not just falling asleep. You're teaching yourself deep down that falling asleep is safe and easy and yours. Here's a small wonder about the way your mind handles the feeling of enough. All day, in 100 small ways, the world asks us for more. Do more, be more, achieve more, worry more. It's a low and constant pressure, so familiar we forget it's even there. But your brain also has a deep, old capacity for the opposite feeling, the feeling of enough. It's the sensation you get after a good meal, when you're comfortably full and want nothing else. It's the quiet after finishing something that mattered, and it's available to you right now, in this moment, if you let it come. Because right now, honestly, you have enough. You're warm enough. You're safe enough. You've done enough today. Whatever it was, there's nothing you need in this moment that you don't already have. Let that land for a second. The chasing can stop. The reaching can stop. You've arrived at a place where there's nothing more to get, nothing more to prove, nothing missing at all. This, right here, this breath, this warmth, this soft descent into rest. This is enough. You are enough. And you can let that quiet fullness settle over you like a blanket and rest inside it and want for nothing at all. Let me tell you something soft about the way your body keeps time with the world turning. Deep inside you, there's a kind of clock, one you never wind and never check. And it's been running your whole life. It knows, without a single glance at the sky, roughly when the light should fade and when it should return. It's tuned to the slow turning of the earth itself, to the great steady rhythm of day and night that every living thing on this planet has moved to since the very beginning. And right now, as the world outside tips toward darkness, that clock inside you is doing its ancient work, releasing the quiet signals that soften you, that heavy your eyelids, that turn your body gently toward sleep. You're not fighting the world tonight. You're moving with it. The same pull that draws the tide, the same turning that folds the flowers closed and quiets the birds, is at work in you as well, easing you down toward rest in perfect time with everything else that's sleeping. There's such peace in that. When you think about it, the sense that you're not alone in this, that you're part of a vast and gentle rhythm, drifting off along with half the sleeping world, held by the same slow turning that's rocked every living thing to sleep since time began. There's something worth knowing about the way your mind treats the sound of your own name, spoken softly, in a gentle tone. It's one of the first words you ever learn to recognize, long before you understood what it meant to be a person with a name at all. And to this day, deep in a quiet part of your brain, that little collection of sounds carries a warmth that no other word quite has. When someone says it kindly, not sharply, not to get your attention, but softly, the way you'd say it to someone you love, something in you settles. It's a signal, old as anything, that you're known here, that you belong, that someone sees you. And you don't have to be awake for that comfort to reach you. Even now, drifting, if you let your own name float up gently in your mind, said in the softest voice you can imagine, you might feel a small easing, a sense of being held by the simple fact of being you. There's no one else quite like you, and that little word has followed you your whole life, through every version of yourself, gathering up all the tenderness of everyone who ever said it kindly. Let it rest with you now, soft as a hand on your shoulder. Let me tell you something gentle about the way your brain handles the difference between a worry and a plan. During the day, the two can get tangled together, so that a worry pretends to be useful, spinning around and around, as if all that spinning might solve something. But here's the quiet truth your mind already knows, deep down. Worrying at night solves nothing at all, and some soft part of you understands that perfectly. That's why, as you settle into rest, your brain begins to loosen its grip on the problems it was turning over. It's not that the problems vanish, it's that your mind, wise in its own way, knows this isn't the hour for them. Nothing gets decided at this time of night. Nothing needs to. Whatever was pulling at you can wait for the clear light of morning, when your mind is rested and steady and far better equipped to handle it. Right now, your only task is to let go, and some part of you is already doing exactly that, setting down each worry with the quiet certainty that it will still be there tomorrow if it truly matters, and gone by morning if it never did. Here's something soft and true about the way your body understands stillness. All day long, your muscles have been quietly ready to stand, to reach, to move, to catch you if you stumbled. Even when you were sitting perfectly still, there was a low hum of readiness running through you, a kind of held breath in the muscles themselves. But as you lie here now, fully supported, with nothing at all to hold up and nowhere at all to go, your body is finally receiving a message. It doesn't get very often. The message is simple. You can stop now. There's nothing to be ready for. And one by one, the muscles are letting go of that ancient readiness, releasing it like a slow exhale that runs the whole length of you. Your legs, which carried you all day, can rest. Your hands, which held so many things, can open. Your shoulders can drop away from your ears at last. This is what your body has been waiting for. This permission to be completely, gloriously still, to be held rather than to hold, to rest rather than to ready itself for the next thing. There is no next thing right now. There's only this, only stillness, only the deep animal relief of a body that's finally, safely at rest. Let me share something quietly lovely about the way your mind softens the edges of the day as it files it away. All the little moments you lived through today, the ones that felt sharp, the ones that felt awkward, the ones that stung a little, they don't get stored exactly as they happened. As you sleep, your brain does something almost merciful with them. It strips away the raw feeling, the heat of the moment, and keeps mostly the useful shape of what happened. so that tomorrow, when you remember, it won't sting the way it did today. This is why yesterday's embarrassment feels so much smaller now than it did when it happened. Your mind has been gently sanding down the rough edges while you weren't looking, softening the hard parts, letting the emotion drain away, and leaving something you can carry more easily. It's a kind of nightly kindness your brain performs over and over for your whole life, taking the day, however it went, and making it a little lighter to hold by morning. So whatever happened today, whatever's still tender, trust that your mind will do this gentle work for you tonight, sanding it soft, setting it down easy, giving you a fresher, lighter version of the day to wake up with. There's something tender about the way we're built to be soothed by rhythm, by the simple repetition of a soft and steady beat. Long before you were born, before you'd taken a single breath of air, there was a sound that surrounded you completely, all day and all night. A slow, steady, muffled drumming, the sound of a heartbeat, close and constant and warm. It was the very first thing you ever knew, that rhythm, and it meant everything was fine. Everything was safe. You were held and fed and kept. And some part of you has never forgotten it. It's why a slow, steady beat can calm you even now, all these years later. The tick of a clock, the patter of rain, the soft rhythm of a voice speaking gently, the rise and fall of your own quiet breathing. Your body still reads that steady pulse the way it did in the very beginning, as a sign that all is well, that you're safe, that you can let go. So let the gentle rhythm of this moment hold you now. The slow, steady beat of your own heart, faithful and constant, the same one that's been with you every single day of your life, keeping time, keeping you, asking nothing in return, except that you rest. Let me tell you something soft about how your brain treats the things you've forgiven. When you let go of something someone did, really let it go, not just pretended to, your mind lightens in a way that's almost physical. Researchers have found that carrying a grudge takes real effort, a low background tension the body has to keep up, like holding a muscle clenched for so long you forget it's clenched. But when you release it, when you finally set down the weight of an old hurt, that tension drains away, and everything gets a little easier, a little lighter. And here's the gentle part. You don't have to forgive anything grand tonight. No great wrongs, no old wounds. You can simply forgive the small things, the person who was short with you, the driver who cut you off, the version of yourself that didn't quite measure up today. Just let it all go, softly, the way you'd release a handful of sand and watch it scatter on the wind. There's nothing worth carrying into sleep, nothing at all. Let the day's small grievances slip through your fingers and dissolve, and feel how much lighter you become without them, how much softer the descent into rest, when your hands and your heart are finally, completely empty. Here's something quietly beautiful about the way your mind wanders as sleep draws near. You may have noticed that your thoughts, right about now, have stopped marching in straight lines. They've begun to drift and loop, to leap from one thing to another without any thread connecting them, to conjure up little images that don't quite make sense. That drifting isn't a sign that something's wrong. It's one of the surest signs that something's going beautifully right. It means the gatekeeper in your mind, the part that keeps your thoughts orderly and logical all day long, is finally clocking off for the night. And once that gatekeeper steps away, Your mind is free to roam wherever it likes, to play, to wander, to soften into the loose and dreamy logic that comes just before sleep. So if your thoughts feel a little strange right now, a little untethered, a little nonsensical, good. That's exactly what you want. Don't try to make sense of them. Don't try to steer them anywhere. Just let them drift as they please, following their own gentle current. And know that each strange little thought is one more step down the soft staircase into sleep. You're almost there. You're nearly home. Let the wandering carry you the rest of the way. Let me share something reassuring about the way your body knows how to breathe you into sleep, all on its own, without any effort from you at all. You don't have to remember to breathe tonight. You never have. That slow, faithful rise and fall has been happening on its own since the moment you were born. And it will keep on happening no matter how deeply you rest, no matter how far you drift, no matter how completely you let go. There's a quiet freedom in that. When you think about it, the fact that the most essential thing you do requires nothing of you at all. You can hand it over entirely. You can stop paying it any mind. And as you do, as you let your breathing slip fully into the care of the wise old part of your brain that's been managing it all along, you might notice it slowing further, deepening, settling into the long, even rhythm of a body that's already half asleep. Let it happen. Don't help. Don't count. Don't guide it. Just let each breath arrive when it arrives and leave when it leaves, like waves you're not in charge of, like the tide coming in and going out along a shore that stretches on forever. Your body is breathing you towards sleep, gently and surely, and all you have to do is let it. There's a soft little truth worth knowing about the way kindness you show yourself lands in your body, just as surely as kindness from anyone else. Your mind doesn't draw a sharp line between the gentle words you say to yourself and the gentle words spoken by someone who loves you. When you're patient with yourself, when you speak to yourself kindly instead of harshly, when you let yourself off the hook for the small things, your brain responds with the same quiet warmth it would feel from a friend's reassurance. And that means, right now, you can be your own comfort. You can tell yourself softly that you did your best today and that your best was enough. You can tell yourself that it's all right to rest, that you've earned this, that there's nothing more you need to do or fix or become before you're allowed to close your eyes. Say it gently, the way you'd say it to someone you loved who was tired and ready for sleep, because you are that person tonight and every night, the one who deserves your own tenderness, your own patience, your own soft permission to simply rest. Give yourself that gift now. Let the kindness come from within, and let it hold you just as warmly as any embrace, just as surely as any voice that ever soothed you to sleep. And here's one last soft wonder before we drift a little deeper still. Something about the way your mind treats the moment right before sleep as a kind of gentle threshold. There's a name for this state you're slipping into now, this hazy in-between where you're not quite awake and not quite dreaming, where the walls between thought and image grow thin and soft. It's one of the most peaceful places the human mind ever visits, and it comes for you naturally every single night, without your having to find it or earn it or do anything at all. In this soft threshold, the worries of the day can't quite reach you anymore. The sharp thoughts have gone blurry. The heavy things have grown light. You're floating in the doorway between one world and another. And there's nothing to fear in that doorway. Nothing at all. Only rest waiting on the other side. Only the deep and dreamless quiet your whole body has been longing for. So let yourself linger here as long as you like, in this soft and shapeless place. And when you're ready, when it feels easy, let yourself slip a little further through, into the warm dark, into the deep, still peace of sleep, held every step of the way by a mind that knows exactly how to bring you home. There's something quietly lovely about the way your brain handles a familiar smell as you drift toward sleep. The scent of your own pillow, the faint trace of laundry soap on the sheets, the particular smell of your own room that you've stopped noticing because it's simply always there. Long ago, that steady, familiar scent told a part of you that you were home, that you were among your own things, that no stranger had passed through this space. And even now, even tonight, that same quiet signal is reaching a deep and ancient part of your brain, the part that decides whether it's safe to let go. It's telling that part, gently, that everything is exactly as it should be. Nothing has changed. Nothing is out of place. You are exactly where you belong, and so a kind of guard you didn't even know you were keeping is quietly lowered, and your body sinks a little further into the softness beneath you, trusting the familiar in a way it never quite trusts the new. Let me tell you something tender about the way your mind holds on to the people who were kind to you when they didn't have to be. Somewhere in you, softly filed away, there's a quiet collection of small mercies. The teacher who was patient with you when you were struggling. The stranger who returned something you dropped. The friend who stayed on the phone a little longer because they could tell you needed it. You may not think of these moments often. Most of them have slipped beneath the surface of your busy days, but your brain kept them anyway, tucked away in the warm places, because it knows something your busy mind sometimes forgets, that you have been cared for again and again, in ways both large and small, all through your life. You have been held up by more hands than you could ever count. And tonight, as you lie here in the dark, you can let yourself rest inside that truth, the way you'd rest inside a warm coat on a cold day. You are not, and never have been, alone in the way it sometimes feels. There's a whole quiet history of kindness woven right through you, and it's holding you still. There's a soft little fact about the way your eyes behave in these last waking minutes, and it's one of the surest signs that sleep is very close now. During the day, your eyes are constantly moving, darting from thing to thing, tracking motion, gathering up the endless stream of the visible world. But as you settle toward sleep, something changes. Your eyes begin to drift slowly, gently, rolling a little upward behind your closed lids, moving in a slow and dreamy way that only ever happens right at the edge of sleep. It's a motion your body knows and does entirely on its own, a signal passing between deep parts of the brain, all of it happening far below your notice. You don't have to make it happen. You couldn't stop it if you tried. It's simply your body doing what bodies have done at the end of every day since the very beginning, turning the eyes gently inward, away from the world, toward the soft dark where dreams are waiting. So if you feel that slow, heavy drift behind your eyes right now, that gentle rolling weight, you can welcome it. It means you're nearly there. It means the doorway is just ahead. Let me share something quietly reassuring about the way your brain sorts through the day while you sleep. deciding what to keep and what to let go. All through the night, in the deep and quiet hours, your mind will be doing a kind of gentle housekeeping, going back through the day's countless moments, holding each one up for a moment, and deciding, with a wisdom you don't have to supervise, what's worth keeping and what can safely be released. The important things, the meaningful things, the moments that matter, those get carefully moved into the deeper, more lasting places, woven into the long story of who you are. And the endless small clutter of an ordinary day, the exact words of a passing conversation, the precise order of your errands, the 100 tiny details that don't need to last, those get quietly swept away, making room, clearing space, leaving you lighter in the morning than you were tonight. You don't have to decide any of this. You don't have to sort a single thing. Your mind knows exactly what matters to you, better than you might guess, and it will tend to all of it while you rest. All you have to do is hand the day over and let sleep take it from here. There's a gentle truth about the way a warm drink, or a warm bath, or simply a warm room helps carry you towards sleep. And it's tied to something deep in the machinery of your body. As you get ready to sleep, your body actually needs to cool itself down a little on the inside, letting its core temperature drop just slightly, the way it naturally does every night as darkness falls. And here's the lovely part. When your skin is warm, when your hands and feet are cozy, your body can actually release its inner heat more easily, letting that gentle cooling happen just the way it should. That's why warm socks can help you drift off, why a warm bath an hour before bed leaves you sleepy, why being tucked snugly under a blanket feels so deeply right. It isn't only comfort, though it is that too. It's your body's own clever way of getting itself ready, using outer warmth to allow an inner cooling, easing you down the slope towards sleep with an intelligence you never had to learn. So if you feel warm and heavy right now, warm and safe and gently held, know that it's doing exactly what it needs to do. Your body is cooling itself into sleep from the inside, softly, surely, all on its own. Let me tell you something soft about the way your brain treats the sound of a story, even now. Even when you're too sleepy to follow every word. For as long as human beings have gathered together, we've told each other stories at the end of the day, around fires, under stars, in the dark of small rooms, voices low and slow. And your brain, over all those thousands of years, has come to associate the gentle rhythm of a told story with the safe and drowsy hours, with the closing of the day, with the moment just before sleep. It's why you don't need to catch every word right now. It's why the meaning can go soft and blurry, and it doesn't matter at all. Some part of you, some very old part, simply hears the rise and fall of a calm voice telling of gentle things, and it recognizes the shape of that sound as the shape of safety, the shape of the day's ending, the shape of being cared for as you drift. You're wrapped in something ancient right now, something that has soothed people to sleep for longer than anyone can remember. Let it carry you the way it's carried countless others, into the warm dark, into the deep, still quiet. There's a quietly beautiful thing about the way your body slows itself in these final minutes, a whole orchestra of small changes, all moving in the same gentle direction. Your heartbeat is easing, slowing its pace beat by beat, no longer hurried by anything the day might have thrown at it. Your breathing has grown long and even, deep and unbothered. the breathing of a body that has nowhere to be and nothing to do. The tiny muscles all over you, the ones that held you upright and ready all day long, are letting go one by one, releasing a tension they'd been holding so quietly you never even noticed it was there. Your blood pressure is drifting downward, softly, the way a tide draws back from the shore. And all of this is happening in concert, all of it moving together, all of it guided by a wisdom deep inside you that needs no instruction and no effort from the part of you that thinks and worries and plans. That part can rest now. It's done its work for the day. The rest of you knows exactly what to do, and it's already doing it, carrying you down and down into sleep with the sureness of something that has done this every single night of your entire life. Let me share something tender about the way your mind, right at the edge of sleep, begins to loosen its grip on the difference between what's real and what's imagined. During the day, your mind keeps a firm and careful line between the world outside and the world within, between what's actually happening and what you're only picturing. But as you sink towards sleep, that line grows soft and permeable, and images begin to rise up on their own. Little scenes, faces, places, half-thoughts that drift by and dissolve. You might see a stretch of road you haven't thought about in years. You might find yourself somewhere you've never been, doing something that makes no sense at all, and feeling perfectly at ease about it. This is your mind beginning to dream while you're still just barely awake, testing the door to that other country, letting the first soft images float through. There's nothing to hold on to here, and nothing you need to make sense of. You can simply watch them drift past like clouds you're lying beneath on a warm afternoon, letting each one come and go, following none of them, until one of them, gently, becomes the dream you slip all the way into. There's a soft little wonder about the way silence itself begins to feel full and comforting as you settle deeper into rest. In a busy day, silence can feel like an absence, like something is missing, like a space waiting to be filled. But here, now, in the quiet dark of the ending day, the silence changes its nature entirely. It stops being empty and starts being whole. It becomes a kind of soft blanket of its own, a gentle presence that wraps around you and holds you, asking nothing, carrying nothing you have to respond to. Your brain, which spends all day straining to catch every sound that might mean something, can finally stop listening so hard. It can let the quiet be just quiet, harmless and complete. A place where nothing needs your attention. And in that fullness, in that soft and living silence, you can feel your whole nervous system exhale, letting go of a vigilance so constant you'd forgotten you were carrying it. This is one of the deepest gifts of the night, the permission to stop listening for danger, to let the silence be a comfort instead of a question, to rest inside the quiet the way you'd rest inside a pair of warm and gentle arms. Let me tell you something quietly reassuring about how faithfully your body will care for you all through the coming night, without needing a single thing from you. The moment you fall asleep, you become, in a sense, completely helpless. No longer watching, no longer deciding, no longer holding the reins of your own careful attention. And yet, night after night, you wake in the morning safe and whole, because all through the dark, your body kept working on your behalf with a devotion that never tires. Your heart never stopped its patient beating. Your lungs never forgot to draw the next breath. Your body turned you gently when you needed turning, warmed you when you grew cold, healed the small wear of the day in 1,000 quiet ways you'll never see. You can trust it completely. You have trusted it, in fact, every night of your life, whether you knew it or not, and it has never once let you down. So you can let go now, fully and without reservation, knowing that the most faithful caretaker you'll ever have is already on watch, already tending you, already carrying you safely toward the morning. There is nothing left for you to guard. You can hand it all over and simply sleep. And here's one last soft thing before we drift a little deeper still. Something about the way your mind, in these final drowsy moments, naturally lets go of the future and settles gently into now. All day, part of you was living slightly ahead of yourself, thinking of the next thing, the thing after that, the long list of what was coming. But sleep can only happen in the present. It can only ever happen now. And so, as you drift, your mind quietly releases its grip on tomorrow, letting the future fold itself up and set itself aside, leaving only this breath, this warmth, this soft and shapeless moment, with nothing in it but rest. There is no next thing here. There is nothing you need to reach for, nothing waiting just ahead, nothing but the gentle now that holds you like still water. Let the future keep till morning. It will be there when you wake, and it can wait until then, patiently, without you. For now, there is only this quiet, only this dark, only this deep and easy peace settling over you like the softest of blankets, drawing you down, at last, into the warm, still country of sleep. Let me tell you something quietly wonderful about what your brain does the moment you finally slip under. Something you'll never feel and never have to. All through the day, your busy, thinking brain leaves behind a kind of residue, the natural byproduct of all that noticing and worrying and working. And at night, while you sleep, a gentle tide rises through the spaces between your cells and washes it all clean, carrying the day's wear quietly away, the way a slow river smooths a stone. It only happens when you rest. It's one of the reasons a night of real sleep leaves you feeling rinsed and new in the morning, lighter than you were, clearer somehow, as though someone tidied a room while you were away. You don't have to help. You don't have to know how it works. You only have to let go and let the tide come in, and it will, faithfully, all night long, tending to you in the dark. Here's another soft one, and it might make you smile a little, even now. You know how a yawn seems to arrive all on its own, wide and slow and impossible to stop once it starts? For a long time, nobody quite knew why we do it. But it seems a yawn is a small act of cooling, a way your body draws in a breath to gently lower the temperature of that hard-working mind of yours. And a cooler mind is a sleepier mind. So if a yawn drifts up through you as you lie here, don't fight it. Let it come all the way, wide and unhurried. It's your body doing exactly what it's meant to do at this hour, easing you a step closer to rest, one slow breath at a time. Let me share something tender about the way your sleeping mind still keeps one small door open for the people who matter to you. Deep in sleep, most sounds wash right past you, unheard and unimportant, the world murmuring on without you. But your own name, spoken softly, can still reach you, even from the far side of a dream. Some quiet part of your mind never stops listening for the ones it loves, ready to surface if it's truly needed. And there's something so comforting in that, isn't there? That even at your most peaceful, most helpless, most completely surrendered. You're never really cut off from the people you care about. The connection holds. It holds while you sleep. It holds without any effort from you at all, so you can go down as deep as you like tonight, knowing that the thread between you and the ones you love is never once let go. Here's a small one about the strange arithmetic of sleep. You've probably noticed that you can't ever quite catch the moment you fall asleep. You can watch for it. You can wait for it. But it always slips by unnoticed. And the next thing you know, it's morning. That's not a flaw. That's a mercy. Your brain lets go of its grip on awareness so gently, so gradually, that there's no edge to feel, no cliff to step off, only a slow and seamless fading, like a room growing dim as the last of the daylight leaves it. You won't feel yourself cross over tonight, and you don't need to. There's no threshold to brace for, no leap to take. Just a soft and shapeless drifting, a quiet dissolving, until sleep has already gathered you up before you ever noticed it beginning. Let me tell you something soft about the way a body settles when it finally believes it's safe. All day, without your ever deciding it, some part of you stayed a little braced, shoulders holding, jaw set, a faint readiness humming just under the surface in case the day asked something sudden of you. But a body only truly lets that go when it's certain nothing more will be required of it. And here, now, in the dark, with nothing left on the list and nowhere left to be, it finally believes you. The bracing melts, the holding lets go. You may even feel it happening, a kind of sinking, a heaviness that isn't tiredness so much as trust, your whole body agreeing, at last, that it's allowed to stop. That's the deepest kind of rest there is, not just still, but unguarded. And it's yours tonight. Here's a gentle one about the way your mind sorts through the day's small kindnesses while you sleep. All those little moments you might think you've forgotten. A stranger who smiled, a friend who checked in, a soft word someone gave you when they didn't have to. Your sleeping brain gathers them up and quietly tucks them somewhere warm. It keeps the good more carefully than you'd guess, and over a lifetime, those saved up moments become a kind of quiet background warmth, a sense, even on hard days, that the world has held some tenderness for you. You're building that gallery right now without trying, just by having lived another day. And tonight, as you sleep, your mind will file away whatever gentleness came your way, keeping it safe, keeping it for you. Let me offer you one last small wonder, and it's one of the kindest things I know. Right at the very edge of sleep, in these final soft moments, the boundary between your thoughts and your dreams grows thin and easy, and the mind begins, all on its own, to drift into images. A face, a place, a scene that floats up out of nowhere and dissolves just as gently. You don't have to make them. You don't have to follow them. They come the way clouds come, moving slowly across a wide and quiet sky, asking nothing, meaning nothing, simply passing through. Let them. This soft, wandering, half-dreaming place is the doorway, and you're already standing in it, already halfway through, already being carried down into the deep and easy country of sleep. In just a little while, when this comes to its quiet end, another gentle story will begin all on its own, softly, without your having to lift a finger or reach for anything at all. You don't need to do a thing. Let it play. Let the voice carry on into the dark. another soft current to drift along, so that if you're still floating somewhere near the surface, there's something calm and easy to hold you the rest of the way down. There's no reason to surface, no reason to check, no reason to reach for anything. Just stay exactly where you are, warm and heavy and held, and let the next quiet story keep you company as you sink. And if these calm nights have been good to you, if you'd like more of them waiting here whenever the dark feels a little too wide, you might let yourself follow along, so that another one of these is always close by when you need it. There's no rush, and it can wait until morning. Nothing right now needs deciding. Nothing right now needs doing. It's just a small, easy way to make sure this quiet place is here for you again tomorrow night, and the night after that, whenever you'd like to come back and rest. But that's for later. For now, there's nothing to arrange and nothing to remember. There's only this. Because you've done enough today. Truly. Whatever the day asked of you, whatever you managed and whatever you didn't, it's finished now. And it can stay finished. There's nothing left to fix tonight. Nothing left to carry. Nothing left to solve. The whole long list can wait in the dark until morning, patient and quiet, asking nothing of you now. You've laid it all down. You've earned this stillness. And all that's left for you to do, the only thing, the easiest thing, is to keep sinking, slow and soft, deeper into the warmth of the bed beneath you, deeper into the quiet all around you, deeper into this gentle place where nothing is required and everything is allowed. Feel how heavy you've become in the loveliest way, as though the whole weight of you has been given, at last, to the bed to hold. Feel your breath moving on its own, slow and even, needing nothing from you. Feel the dark settling over you, like something soft drawn up to your chin, tucking you in, keeping you safe, holding you close. There's nowhere to go from here but down, and down is exactly where you're meant to be, drifting lower and lower, softer and softer, until the last of your thoughts loosen and scatter and fade, like the final embers of a fire burning gently down to nothing. You're safe, you're warm, you're cared for by your own faithful body and by the quiet of the night itself. There is nothing to guard, nothing to watch for, nothing to hold. The world will keep turning without you for a few hours, and it will still be here, soft and waiting, when you wake. But that's a long way off yet. For now, there's only this breath, and then the next, each one carrying you a little further into the deep, a little further into the dark, a little further into rest. So let go now, all the way. Let the quiet have you. Let the warmth take you down. Let sleep gather you up in its slow and gentle arms and carry you off into the soft, still country of dreams, where nothing can trouble you and nothing needs you, and there is only rest and more rest and the deep, sweet peace of a night with nothing left to do. Rest well. Sleep deeply. You've been so good, and you deserve every bit of this quiet. Good night.